What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapiche, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. We appreciate you guys stopping by. We are recording this on this late evening slash night, Sunday night. We did want to wait until after the Zuffa09 card to get crack-a-lackin' on recording because we kind of wanted to see what the whole hoopla was of their first New York event, Zuffa's first New York event, and main evented by Prenga, co-main evented by Hitchens. So that's going to be part of the discussion tonight, most likely towards the end of the card, but or end of the show. But there's plenty of other fights we're going to be talking about. Starting with the sparring session, I guess, episode of Netflix's whatever hit reality TV show with Tyson Fury, his fight, if we want to call it that, in Thailand. Props to him. He donated his purse to charity, so he did it for a good cause, right? And basically kept himself busy, which we're going to be talking about. His opponent, not that great, of course. We understood this was going to be a tune-up, right? We knew the assignment, it was going to be a tune-up. We didn't know it was going to be this bad, but regardless, it was for a good cause, not just for him to stay busy, but also to donate to charity. We're going to be talking about that because he very interestingly selected one day before AJ and Prenga. That's going to be the second topic. Anthony Joshua stepped back into the ring after being off since December, I believe it was, and the tragedy outside of the ring, seeing how he was mentally, physically coming into this fight against Kristian Prenga that was on DAZN pay-per-view. We're going to be talking about that, along, of course, with a couple of co-main events, right? The co-main event with Sheeraz, the weird scorecard there. Josh Kelly putting his IBF belt on the line. We're going to be briefly talking about those fights. Of course, the ones we want to talk about the most will be AJ and Prenga, which is, boy, what a roller coaster of emotions. See, this is one of the reasons why I love the sport of boxing. This is one of the things that, the roller coaster, the emotional roller coaster that this sport takes you, and it's not a movie, a TV show where they deliberately manufacture it that way, right? It's just real life. Although we're already hearing rumblings of people and their damn conspiracy theories about AJ and Prenga. We're going to be talking about that, of course. More fights Saturday. Holy smokes. Oddly, this is one of the few times that there's a bunch of fights. There was a UFC card from Abu Dhabi early that morning, Saturday morning. There was a card, I think, from Florida, PFL, that was on ESPN, and then the two boxing cards. Holy smokes. One of the other boxing cards, Tszyu, making his return to the ring, taking on Errol Spence Jr. in one of the wackiest kind of fights. Was supposed to be 158, ended up being 160 after all. Last minute change, and some last minute changes to the card. Prior to our show on Wednesday, it was already determined that Charlo was not going to be able to participate on the card. We later found out that one, Stephen Fulton Jr. ended up weighing way heavy, and that fight falls through as well. Unfortunately, that pay-per-view card was the $80 one. Holy smokes. And we got two fights dropped out of that. I don't know if it's ever been done or possible. Maybe with stuff like this happening, I would think that the powers that be would just be like, fuck it, just put it on free Amazon, whatever. We're not going to continue to charge for this shit. Obviously, that doesn't happen, but it was a wishful thinking, I guess, on my behalf. But we're going to be talking about that because, after all, this was PBC's first DAZN card. Oh, what a disaster! Some news that we got after our Wednesday show: Devin Haney signs with DAZN, directly with DAZN, with no promotional company behind him. This is the second fighter that DAZN has done that with, or maybe as of late. I'm not sure if they did it with like a Canelo or something like that, right? Maybe they might have. But regardless, as of late, we got Teofimo Lopez and now Devin Haney signing direct deals with DAZN, no longer with promotional companies. I guess they're their own promoters. This is kind of crazy. We talked about the possibility of one Turki Al-Sheikh's involvement in the sport possibly eliminating promoters. Damn, well, that didn't happen. They're still around, right? But now we get this stuff. Granted, this is not the kind of thing that any fighter can do, so it definitely leaves room for the promoter to still be in and around, of course. But man, this is something that's pretty special, and it kind of throws a bit of a monkey wrench in the possible Devin and Shakur fight. But we're going to be talking about that because coming up here tomorrow, because today is Sunday night, tomorrow is, I believe, the deadline for the purse bid for Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis. We're going to be talking about that, of course. And as I mentioned earlier, the results of this ZUFFA09 card from the theater at Madison Square Garden, which is that little theater to the side of it in New York City. So those are going to be the topics. As always, before we get to those, a quick word from our channel sponsor, Health y Sol or Health y Sol. Make sure to check them out, give them a try. If you happen to find anything you might want to try out, make sure to use the code MADBoxing10 at checkout and get 10% off of your purchase, or follow the affiliate link that's going to be in the description of this video, and you'll get the same 10% off. As I usually say, lavender patchouli is my favorite. Make sure to give them a try. I use it for everything. I use it as facial wash. I use it as a shampoo, all that good shit. Once more, MADBoxing10 at checkout. Give them a try, yo. All right. Oh boy, let's get crack-a-lackin' with this here. So we will start with one Tyson Fury and his keep me busy sparring session against 46-year-old Mariusz Wach. If you guys didn't watch it, it's because it wasn't broadcasted on any streaming service. Yes, it was literally recorded, filmed specifically for his for Tyson Fury's Netflix show, Keeping Up with the Furies, I think it was called. I'm not sure what it's called, but anyway, that particular show, it was basically not meant to be really aired anywhere. But if you go on the internet, of course, we all have smartphones, and it is recorded, so you can find the stoppage. You can find a couple of rounds. I have yet to find a video of the whole fight in its entirety, but quite frankly, we kind of don't have to because we didn't really miss much. It was them dancing around. It was Tyson Fury in a clinch kissing Mariusz Wach. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Home dude. He's done that with Deontay Wilder as well. I think it was like licking his ear or some shit. Yeah, Tyson's kind of a wacky guy. But ultimately, he made Mariusz Wach quit on his stool after, I think it might, I'm not sure if it was at the seventh round or leading up to the seventh round, but basically in between rounds, Mariusz Wach called it a fight. So let's go ahead and start with that one before we move on to the other stuff, because I know we'll have plenty to talk about the other ones, but this is kind of part of the puzzle that we've been kind of waiting for. This happened on Friday morning because it was from Thailand, and that was one half of the heavyweight puzzle. Later on, of course, Saturday was the Anthony Joshua and Kristian Prenga fight that we'll talk about in a bit. But let me go ahead and bring in my co-host, Andrew. Andrew, the second I was able to see any sort of video or any clip online of Fury's fight, if you want to call it that, I sent it to you to see what you think, of course, and basically any sort of coverage or footage, because I wasn't sure if this was going to be it. Mind you, this is going to be on his TV show, but when you saw the clips, what did you think? This is some crap, or is like, all right, well, good for Fury, keep him busy. Yeah, what'd you think about that?
Well, the clips that I seen look like both men were exchanging decent punches. It didn't look too much of a sparring match for me. Fury was hurt in this fight. Round 2 or 3, I believe he's wobbled by one of the shots that landed. And, so I thought it was a good showing for him, right? He's going into the biggest fight of his career. It's the last fight of his career, most likely. I think both guys know that their time is coming here, and they got it to the finish line. They made it. But I didn't think it was a fixed fight, a thrown fight, or nothing like that. Both guys were exchanging. I actually, how do you say the watch?
Yeah, that's what I call him, Watch. So yeah,
Mariusz Wach. I thought he was throwing a lot more power shots than I think Tyson and them paid him for. I think they paid him to be more of a sparring partner than when he actually showed up. And look, the dude was 6-something himself. I think he was heavier in weight than Fury. So heavy shots, even when you're trying to just be a sparring partner, right? Both guys are 300 plus pounds, I believe. 6'6". it was a great show for the Thai people that were there in attendance. You know, obviously we didn't get to see it, but like I said, the highlights that I did see, I kind of was like, all right, well, they're really fighting, is all I took away from it. You know.
Yeah. Um, we've heard the lovely news that Tyson has donated his entire purse to charity. I forget what specific charity is, but it definitely, considering the amount of money that he's made throughout his career, you would think, this is not. It's such a kind gesture on his part, right? To go over there to put on a show for them. I certainly don't think it was the kind of tune-up fight that we thought, was going to be a little bit more. I thought they were going to have a little more of a serious opponent, even though again it did look a little bit more so than just the sparring session that I was calling it. But nice gesture on his behalf to donate his purse. I believe there was about 1,500 people in that little arena that they were at. And this show or this fight is basically recorded for his TV show. Now, this is going to be his reality show on Netflix. I don't know when it's going to air or anything like that, but I guess that's when we're going to be able to see the whole thing. Not like we really missed anything anyway, but when you saw, if you saw, bits and pieces of it, Mariusz watch his physique, like he looked bad. I mean, the dude, yeah, he was heavy, right? I mean, it kind of looked like he wasn't going to be able to go the distance, however many rounds they had it. But he was big, he was throwing some heavy shots. But towards the end, you can tell that the dude, it's like it was a charity fight, really, essentially what it is, because you can tell even Fury himself wasn't as ripped, and he's never really ripped. I get that, but a little bit slimmer. Oftentimes he looks slimmer. Both these guys came in pretty soft looking, right? It wasn't like it was going to be a serious one, but this is the first half of the puzzle. This was one of the ones that you called, like, let's just get over with already, right? This is kind of one of the things. This was the first hurdle of what could potentially be the last hurrah for Tyson and AJ. So we got that part done from Fury. Again, we didn't really get to see anything. Like, how can I say that? Is that enough? From what we saw from Fury, enough to think, okay, he's ready for AJ. He's definitely going to get it. Or did he just, because he looks like he just half-assed it, no?
Well, okay, look, to me, Fury looked, his combinations were coming out nice, in my opinion. All right, he looked like he tried on this fight. I had him. I've always had him beating AJ because I always thought he was superior in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the chin that is the question mark of this fight, right? And his chin held up. He did look like he got wobbled. Like I said, there is a highlight out there of him getting hurt by Wach, but he's able to get over it and get through with the fight. So I still had him. I have him ahead of AJ skill wise. So I'm probably going to have them the favorite matched up with each other anyways. I don't think this fight was going to dictate which way I go. And then AJ kind of doubles down on it later on. But I will say, the kiss in the ring should not have surprised you. Did you see what he was doing earlier in the week?
What he was doing earlier in the week? No. What was he doing?
So I guess it's tradition out there when Muay Thai champions are crowned and they have a big fight coming up.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, the other fighters on the card give you a bath.
Oh, I did hear about that. I don't think I saw it, but I did hear about that. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you didn't see it because at least it's not in your mind. I should find it and send it to you to ruin your mind. Gee, I was like, why did they have to post this? Like, he's got boxers on, but just real weird. I don't know what the fuck's going on in this room, dude. Just a whole bunch of men rubbing down a giant. It's like a whole bunch of little men rubbing down a giant, bro. What's going on? I was like, Fury, what the fuck are we doing in Thailand, bro? Like, tradition, I guess.
Is this
Um,
one of those like hidden camera in a massage parlor type of shit? Because I don't think this is the kind of stuff I tune in to watch. I did hear about that. Unfortunately, there are things you just cannot unsee. So I'm not sure if I want to watch that. But
you know,
the picture that you painted was enough for me.
when he got back to the team and the promoter or whatever over there in Thai, he was like, "Yeah, they just did the tradition bath for me." The Thai promoter's like, "What tradition? What are you talking? What are you talking about, bro?"
He's like, the guys, like the Thai tradition where all the ladies wash you down. Like, no, they're all guys. Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that tradition. Gotcha. Okay, one of those. I did hear about that.
I think Paris, is that his wife's name? Is it Paris? She's gonna have some questions when he gets home, man.
It's like, were you there by yourself with those guys? Like, no, sweetheart. The Netflix producers were there. Okay.
Camera? You and a camera in there? Like, come on, man. You can't keep the tradition to yourself, Tyson.
Yes, that was. I did hear about that. I have yet to find it online. Not that I was searching for it.
Yeah, don't search for it, bro.
I suppose that kiss in the ring shouldn't have surprised me. Although it most certainly did. It came out of nowhere, and I was like, "What the hell?" I'm sure it surprised Watch a lot more than it did me. But yes, I did see that.
They had him face down. I wonder if that was for a reason. I wonder if in the tradition they already know that the man should probably be face down. So, you don't want men to start questioning themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Or anybody around you question is like, is that am I seeing like no.
Do you like the way I'm rubbing your
Yes.
arm? I guess yes.
Like, no, I'm thinking about my wife. What else do you think? But ultimately, in the 7th round or in between rounds, I forget if it's at the end of the 7th or leading up to the 7th. Watch called it. Corner called it off. He called it off. Are you surprised that it even reached the 7th round? I mean, I guess we figured it wasn't going to be a full ass. I don't know, because of how little information we have on it. I don't know how many rounds it was scheduled to go to begin with. But are you surprised that it even reached the 7th round?
A little, until I heard that he made $750,000 for this charity match. I mean, that's a very hefty price for a sparring match, so you better take in some few rounds. So they probably told him, go ahead and around 7th or 8th, sit it down, but definitely got to make your money's worth at 750. Where do they even get that money from? Yeah. Right? It's a charity event. It's not on TV. The crowd was limited. I could have swore all the money that the crowd generated anyways was going to charity. So where did we get the 750 for Watch to get paid? Sometimes I think I'm in the wrong business, man. Should I be working?
Oh, that's crossed my mind many times. Like, what am I doing that I find myself having to go to bed to wake up to work the next day when somehow miraculously $750,000 tends to come out of somewhere for this sparring session.
For this non-event.
Yeah, right.
It's like literally a non-event. It wasn't a professional bout, right? It's not going on.
It wasn't. I'm gonna look it up.
I don't believe it's going on a record.
I certainly hope it's not, because I'm gonna pull it up on. Well, actually, hold on.
I thought it was a charity event, meaning his exhibition.
Dude, it shows up on his Wikipedia page
as a fight. Okay.
Yeah, let me see. Let me go to BoxRec. I know BoxRec sometimes are kind of dicks about it. Makes you want to sign in and stuff, and it's giving me the whole CAPTCHA stuff. So in a second it'll pop up here. But this is recorded for the TV show. I mean, I keep saying TV show, but the Netflix show. You are a fan of it, so you intend to watch this episode, I'm assuming.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll check it out if it comes on, even though I don't expect too many highlights from it. I think they're gonna just move on to the real show of him versus AJ. But yeah, I'll check out the episode.
It shows up on BoxRec as well. Seven round TKO or retire this. That's the phrase they use. So yes, it actually goes on his record.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's a pad right there.
Really bad. 46 years old, I think he was. That for it to count that much, I mean, again, he didn't get paid for it, right? I'm talking about Tyson, so I suppose, but for it to be added to his record, really, it should have just been a fucking exhibition, really.
I actually thought it. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I really did. I didn't know that was going to be a real fight, but it is what it is. Where did even Frank Warren? Everyone agreed to him for no one to make money off of it. Netflix had to have paid somebody to get this footage for whatever.
What if that's where the money came from?
I'm guessing it maybe because of the TV show, but seriously, they're gonna give that much money. I mean, you would think 750,000 is the price.
Right.
If that's the max price. Dude, the TV show doesn't draw in that many views. It's not like this thing is blowing up all over social media. Like, oh, you got to go watch the Tyson Fury family show. It just seemed like a hefty price for a challenger. But whatever, I'm not in his pocket, so I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, but we might be in the wrong business at this point.
Yeah, no doubt.
So there's half of the puzzle, right? Half of the piece of the puzzle. We finally are there, right? Before we move on to AJ and Prenga, anything else you want to add to this one here? Because there wasn't really much to talk about here, but anything you want to add to it before we move on to Anthony Joshua's side of the puzzle?
Nope, I think that's the only thing left.
All right. I think at Home with the Furies is the name of the show. I wanted to make sure I get that show right. For those of you who want to watch a grown 6'9" man get rubbed down by short time men on whatever next season of the Netflix show. But the second half of that puzzle was and always seems to be Anthony Joshua, AJ. I don't know if he has a nickname. But we've been here before. We as in the boxing community brought AJ to Madison Square Garden, ends up getting clocked by one Andy Ruiz, and any hope of a Fury and AJ fight then basically went down the toilet. We got close another time, and unfortunately, the monkey wrench, the fly in the ointment, this time was one Alexander Usyk defeating Anthony Joshua twice, actually, and once again derailing what could very well be the biggest English fight ever, at least at the time. And in doing so, Alexander Usyk moves on to himself defeat twice Tyson Fury. But here we are. We got one half of the puzzle done with Tyson Fury defeating Mariusz Wach on Friday the 24th. So early Saturday morning here, I guess Pacific Standard Time from Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, or I forget what the fuck what is it that they had on the microphone. I forget what specific city they were in. But the Ring magazine brings you Anthony Joshua versus Kristian Prenga. Now, when they first announced that the opponent for Anthony was going to be Kristian Prenga, I saw his height, a big motherfucker. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Did these guys drop the ball? I saw his record, 20 victories, 20 KOs, only loss being, I think it was to Caballero. And I was like, are they fucking serious? I even mentioned it on the show. No fucking way. These guys had to have dropped the ball yet again. What the hell is Eddie Hearn doing? So I decided to go do a little bit of research and take a look at what Prenga looks like in the ring. And quite frankly, I wasn't very impressed. A lot of these guys just basically tipping over after the first few punches. Yes, there were a couple of knockouts that looked pretty serious. Dudes dropping like a sack of freaking bricks. But, lesser competition, of course. Nonetheless, knocking these guys out means something. He's got to have some sort of power. You still have to have something to knock out 20 cab drivers. But he did it, right? So after watching some of these highlights, I was like, I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on Prenga. And if you guys remember our prediction show on Wednesday, one of Andrew's primary concerns was Anthony Joshua's chin. If he gets touched on there. Well, lo and behold, holy freaking hell. In the first round, Prenga knocks Anthony Joshua down twice. Once with an uppercut, which I got to say was a little Lennox Lewis, Michael Grant-ish, kind of holding him down a little bit, throwing the uppercut. Looks like he was trying to keep him down, but it was a shot that Joshua did not see at all. And you can see it in his face. He gets hurt and boom, Just like that, down goes Anthony Joshua. He gets back up, gets dropped one more time. He looks like he is so hurt. One last time, he basically goes into the ropes, falls into the ropes. I thought the ref was going to call it a knockdown. I'm not sure if that's the one that he called a knockdown, but there's another time where he actually falls over and the referee doesn't call it a knockdown. So I'm thinking, holy hell, I'm hearing Andrew's voice in my head like, dude, that chin. My dad has concerns too. We were very close to putting some money on fucking Prenga. But to Anthony Joshua's credit, he survived that first round, that horrendous first round. And in the second round, basically corrects history by knocking Kristian Prenga out nasty, leaving him basically nearly falling out of the ring under one of the ropes. And you can see Prenga's eyes were just looking in one direction as he's trying to struggle to get back up. It was clear that he was out and he was not going to be able to make it to his feet. What a roller coaster of events those 2 rounds were. So much so that everybody, there's already people online talking about the fight being rigged, the fight being fixed. What the hell? Prenga goes balls to the wall round 1 and then doesn't do jack squat in round 2. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Anthony Joshua survives and ends up knocking Prenga out. And in doing so, checks or what's the word, stamps his ticket to what could be the biggest fight in English boxing history. We finally are going to get Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury after this crazy scare. Andrew, when you saw Anthony Joshua hit the ground hit the canvas in that first round, were your prediction going through your head the way it was going through mine, like hearing your voice say that chin?
Definitely the chin, and most definitely, what was Eddie thinking? What was he thinking? Listen, this is 7 months after AJ was in a horrific car accident that took 2 teammates / childhood friends. I think one childhood friend, one teammate, but both close friends when they died. Right next to him. He had to walk out of a car that I believe he went over the young man was sitting next to him. One was in the passenger seat in the driver's section on the passenger seat. He was in the back seat with another guy. Horrific, right? And then they put their initials in the ring. They have this "My Brother's Keeper" stuff all over the ring, reminding AJ as he walks into the ring. I didn't like it. Can I just say
you don't think that was maybe per his request? No, like per Anthony Joshua's request, you don't think?
I hope so. I still don't like the idea.
Okay.
I don't want you in the biggest fight of your life thinking about death right before this bell rings and this dude's going to come across the ring and try to take your head off. You have to be 100% focused in this sport. At that moment, when he walked in the ring and looks down and reads that, or looks up at the sky and starts, he's not focused. 30 seconds in, we seen he wasn't. It was 30 seconds in, he gets put down. He had to recalibrate. He had to bring it back to reality and move on. And he does that. Now, fixed fight. I don't even know where any of this shit's coming from. It was an Anthony Joshua fight. He goes down, he gets up, he knocks out guy. Not the first time we've seen Anthony Joshua do that, right? I think he did it to this one great heavyweight named Klitschko. Could have swore he got off the canvas in that one to knock out Klitschko. Did he not?
Sure did.
Now all of a sudden it's a fixed fight. Like, come on, it's just stupid talk. There was nothing about that seemed fixed to me. That's a heavyweight fight, man. One guy, first man wins. First guy that lands wins. Sometimes in the heavyweight division, that's what was going on there. Prenga had his shot, didn't get it done. Joshua got his shot and got it done. So, look, you can rag them all you want about the opponent not being up to par and that it made Joshua look bad. I think we've known Joshua has been underperforming for a while now, right? His biggest comeback fight is against Jake Paul. is what really got him put back on the map. So I don't think him not getting dropped by Prenga. Let's just say if the fight went off, Miguel, are you with me? Miguel's stuck. Miguel's frozen. Hopefully he comes back. I'll tell you guys. Let's say Joshua gets through the Prenga fight and doesn't get knocked down, right? Gets a knockout in the second round. Does that really change any of your guys' minds that he's going to beat Fury? I don't think it would have. Then everyone's just going to say, oh, well, who was that? It was a nobody, blah, blah, blah. We're still at that argument. So I don't think it would have changed my mind either way. I still have Tyson Fury a favorite because of his boxing skill, but the chin is on both men is very weak. Tyson's been dropped, what did they say, a dozen times or something in his career? Something like that. And Anthony, obviously, we know his issues with the chin. So don't be surprised if either guy gets stopped when they finally do meet. But going in, if the chins hold up, no, I had Tyson Fury winning this thing when they first talked about fighting. I have him winning this thing tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there. I've seen, I've been all over, social media and in particular Facebook, and there is where I initially saw the rumor, or I guess the rumblings of people already throwing in their conspiracy theory, that putting on their tinfoil hats. But from what I've been seeing and been reading, a lot of people are asking that question, like, shit, after seeing how AJ looked, is he ready for Joshua? I mean, for Tyson Fury. It doesn't really matter, really, at this point. Yeah. It doesn't fucking matter. He managed to get the victory. Both of them have crossed that line, right? The finish line. There's no turning back now. It doesn't matter. He's gonna, I think, Anthony Joshua's gonna walk into this fight with Fury, get fucking obliterated in probably a nice big chunky payday, and call it a career. It doesn't really matter, really. The point is that the majority of boxing fans, and in particular English fans, want to see this fight take place. It's not 2019, when there was still the heavyweight division, the three-headed monster, as Max Kellerman called it, with Wilder, Anthony Joshua, and Tyson Fury. It's not that anymore. So it doesn't really matter who ends up being the better one of the three. I mean, now obviously we're far from that, but between Joshua and Fury, it doesn't really matter who's the better one at this point anymore. It's just that shit. We need to get this fight going because it's one of the more highly anticipated fights, and one of the ones that the English fans have been dying to see since then. Yes, the landscape has changed, so really it doesn't fucking matter, at least at that point, who is the better one. We just want to see it, right? And that's what fans, most of English fans, I would say, were in that same position, huh?
It's Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis at this point. It really is. I think at that when that fight took place, it was more just about we got to see it because it was supposed to happen than it was anyone was wondering, if it was the same fight that it would have been when they were both in their prime, which it wasn't. It wasn't nowhere close. Unfortunately, he still does like 20-something million at the gate, sells out, does great on pay-per-view. So I expect the same thing with this one. I got to disagree with you a little that this is a wash for Tyson Fury. While I have Tyson the favorite, by no means is he going to walk in there and just do this without being touched. I expect this fight to be over fast when they do meet. And I don't know. I'm telling you, I will not be surprised if AJ's raised his hand, gets his hand raised on a one-punch knockout. We have seen Tyson get delivered once in the chin and go down. AJ has the size and the power to touch him once and put him lights out, where he doesn't beat the 10 count, which he's been close to not doing before. So I still got a lot of interest in this fight. That it's going to be very entertaining. It will be a legendary fight because of the chins, because of the size of the men. Every punch is going to hurt someone. Hell, it could be Berlanga versus Butler all over again, right? You know how that was tonight? That was kind of like a rock'em sock'em tonight. It could be that all over again when these two meet. So let's hold it. I'm not going to say Tyson by wash yet. I have him a favorite, but I'm still interested that AJ he might pull it off. Let me tell you, I think the betting's going to be through the roof on this one, though. Somebody's really going to make a killing at the sports book on this because I think it's going to be heavy on both sides.
All right. I gotta say, my main concern is Joshua's chin. I know that Fury has enough defense to get out of the way of the majority of the shots. Yes, he got hit by Wilder, but that didn't keep him down. He got up and he kept going. I'm not sure at the time. I don't know about now. Now it might be a little bit different, but at the time, I think Joshua's punch or Wilder's punch was harder than Joshua. At least at the time when he was still the bronze bomber, to be able to knock Fury down like that. Obviously, is not the same Wilder now. Joshua, on the other hand, I'm a little. He's gonna have to land that punch like on the money and hope that stops Tyson Fury. If a prime Wilder's right hand couldn't stop Fury, I'm not sure if AJ's can. Even when Fury got stunned and hurt and technically knocked down by Usyk, yes. By Usyk, again he wasn't stopped. He was able to survive and keep going.
Pretty bad, bro.
Oh, he was hurt. He was very hurt, very bad. He was, but he wasn't stopped. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. So I can't imagine. What's his name? Anthony Joshua landing the shot and continuing to land the shot enough to keep him down and finish the job. If Wilder couldn't do it and Usyk couldn't do it, I don't think AJ can do it. I don't think he has the accuracy the way Usyk had it, or frankly, I don't think he has the power the way Wilder had it. So it would be him swatting at flies. It would be him trying to find Tyson, because Tyson is very good with defense. He knows how to hang on. He knows how to clinch. He knows how to move out of the way. It will be hard for Joshua to land. Yeah, maybe it won't be a total wash. He will probably play with Anthony Joshua a little bit, and it might go into the 6th, 7th round. Maybe I'll say that. But I don't see the end result being any different. I think Tyson still will be able to finish him. He'll stop him. I'm almost certain he's going to stop Joshua. That chin, I came into this fight with Prenga thinking, you know what? Dubois has got a heavy-ass right hand. I can understand why Dubois stopped Anthony Joshua. With Prenga hitting him like that, I was like, oh, shit. Wow, maybe his chin really is done. Man, there's in my mind, a huge question under Anthony Joshua's chin to be able to take the kind of shots that he is going to take against Fury. I don't
know. Deontay Wilder probably dropped Fury 4 times in their 2 fights. Francis Ngannou dropped Tyson Fury, and Usyk damn near knocked him out, and the ref saved him. His defense hasn't been that great as of late. Okay. This is a man who's in his 40s. Am I correct when I say he's in his 40s or at least late 30s?
Good question. I want to say he's right at the mark.
37. He's 37.
Okay.
So he's late 30s. A guy that used to keep his hands down. We all know how that goes, man. Once that reaction time slips, usually doesn't favor guys that have their hands down. We're seeing a trend of Tyson being either wobbled, dropped, hurt. Okay, I'm telling you, if you watch the fight with Wach, he gets wiggled in this one too, meaning his defense was lacking again. AJ's always had that garbage chin, right? Since he was a pup, we've seen this guy get dropped, be wiggled, but somehow he gets through it. He's knocking out other guys, right? Not all the time, but he's shown the same kind of resistance that you need to come back and knock out your opponent also. He's done it his whole career, where Tyson's getting kind of a little bit new to this whole thing, and it's most likely because his defense is now slipping. This is going to be a few months later from now. This is going to be a Tyson looking at the end of his career. Who knows what shows up? Who knows? Don't talk me into going for AJ tonight. No. I'm just saying. I the second I saw him get hit with that uppercut that looked
I know. I'm gonna say it looked light. It probably would have knocked my fucking head off because of the
Right.
6'7".
Don't be
I get it,
mad.
right?
Don't
Right.
be
I'm
mad.
not. Yeah, like he touched them. He barely touched them. Too chinny.
Can we get some bigger punchers in here? Oh,
Yeah.
he was killing me tonight. Yeah.
I don't be surprised if you start hearing Nico Ali Wach talk like that. But I'm just saying, we'll get to that shortly. But my point is, when I see that kind of punch for somebody as big as he is, thinking he can take a better shot, I was like, oh no, there's no way that the way Prenga got Anthony Joshua hurt, if and in my mind, when Tyson gets him that hurt, he's not going to let him off the hook. He's not going to do that shit. Like, he will attack like a motherfucker. Yeah. That's why I'm thinking Tyson will end up ultimately finishing him. But still several months down the line, the last rumor we heard, or the last date, was sometime in November. So that seems to be the case. We're in July, almost August, September, October. So we still got 4 more months to go.
Oh, I don't.
That's what it looks like, at least.
I don't think this thing's happening until next year for some reason.
No,
I don't know. They just seem like they're dragging their feet too much with this whole time thing. Don't know where it's going to be at. We're starting to get close to the end of the year where travel really starts getting into question. Now, if they do it in Europe, maybe they can pull it off by the end of the year. They bring that to Las Vegas. I'm telling you, dude, they have to start looking at the weather conditions for all those planes that are going to be trying to get over here. I don't know,
but
man.
It doesn't look like they're going to go that direction. It doesn't look like they're going to come down here. It seems as though they're okay with doing it in the UK, but just the time specifically is what is still in question. But from the sounds of things, it looks like they are going to do it over there.
I don't know. It didn't sound like that with Eddie Hearn, but we will see. Let's get it done then already. What's taking so long for the fucking mayor of London? Is that what it is? Whatever mayor, wherever you're at, what's taking so long and green lighting this fight so they can make some money? You know, that's what I'm a little nervous on. What's the holdup on this whole thing? Once again, people, this is not the first time that someone did a fight early in the morning to make it okay for America to get it at 6 p.m. or whatever time frame that they want. It's so weird how we're making it act like this is like the first time. This is a special night where they're asking London to start at 2 a.m. No, they're not. Lennox Lewis did it. Klitschko did it. You know, and I'm not saying at this particular arena, but they did it over there to help HBO put it on primetime. It's been done before.
But I don't think it's been done with guys that, by and large, nobody in the U.S. really cares about. Yeah, maybe.
I just said Lennox Lewis. That's pretty big. I just
no, but I'm saying, but here, like, Lennox Lewis was big here. Like, we wanted to watch him here. Klitschko, even though it wasn't the biggest, we wanted to watch Klitschko here in the U.S. still. I'm not sure if people in the U.S., by and large, because obviously the fan base is different since then, but I'm not sure if most people here in the U.S. even care about that particular fight. People still cared about Lennox here and Klitschko and whatnot. So they made the concession then because it was still something that was desirable here in the U.S. I don't know if this one is equally as desirable as that.
From what they're saying, Tyson's a bigger star than what we're giving him credit for. He has a couple of ticket things in Las Vegas that have reached the record books with Wilder. He has a few fights on pay-per-view. He has the fights on ESPN. You know, he has a little bit more of a fan base in America than we're giving him credit for. AJ, I think, became a hit with Paul. So I'm not going to say that AJ doesn't get 100 million views, bro, once the ladies start figuring out that he's on TV again. Did you see? I think they said he had 1 billion hits. Have you heard of anyone getting 1 billion hits since? Let's think of all the big shit the UFC's put on, right? This was their big year. Did they say they did 1 billion impressions on the internet? No, but AJ did. So I think he's going to be a star when he gets back on Netflix, dude. They're going to just show. Did you see him after? I mean, the guy, it's almost like the guy sold his soul to the devil for like the best body ever in sports. But then the devil was like, but you don't get a chin. How about that? Is that a fair trade? And he was like, whatever. He just wanted the muscular body, but fuck the chin. It's all like he's a video game where that's his weakness. He's a Mike Tyson freaking character. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, don't let him touch you. But if you touch that chin, you knock him right down. Like, what was the guy on Mike Tyson you had a hit in the belly? Remember that? You hit him in the belly so many times his pants dropped, and then you threw a combo. That's Anthony Joshua, bro. Seriously. But yeah, it's gonna Miguel. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be a huge fight. I can guarantee you that fight is gonna do 60 million views, 80 million views, probably in America, guaranteed. And all of them, half of them will be women saying, "Damn, he's fine," even when he loses. Even when
which he will.
He's still fine, baby. You can come to my house. That's all the comments are going to say. You can come to my house. I'll take care of you. All they're going to say,
when he's crying, like, "Oh, come over here." Well, like, I'm sure that's going to be the fucking comments full. And I'm sure his DMs will be fucking slammed with people be like, "So, are you in? Where you at? When you come in my town?" And presumably it'll be on Netflix, right? I mean, I guess that's the direction to go.
It's absolutely on Netflix. Yeah,
it definitely has to be on there. But perhaps the English fans won't be as satisfied. I don't know how things will work out over there because the last I heard, it looks like they might get it done at 2 a.m. or some crazy shit like that to get it done over here. It sucks for the English fans. They'll get it over there, but it's one of those things where, like, all right, we'll give it to you, but we'll do it around 2 a.m. or some shit. They're like, man, what the fuck? But interesting to see how that unfolds. I've heard it's supposed to be before the end of the year, November. You're convinced it'll have to be sometime in 2027?
The way Joshua looked and the way Eddie Hearn was talking about, oh, was he ready? Maybe he wasn't ready. I don't know, man. I don't know if you want to get him back in the ring real fast, or if you look, it's his next fight. I'm not saying they're going to do another fight in between. But why does that have to be in November, December when you could go January, February, have better weather, give him a little bit more time to get his mind clear. Just things like that. Just don't hold me that they're going to push this thing really fast. There's no need to push it really fast. And I got to say something else about this whole time frame thing. The UK are some pretty big boxing fans last time I checked, right? So whenever they want to see an American pay-per-view fight, what time are they staying up anyways?
Yeah, they're staying up late. Yeah.
Can we stop with the fucking this thing really matters? The diehards are going to be there. Last time I checked, Usyk loves rave music. They all like house music. Those things usually go all night, right? I think there's a lot of people out there probably do all-nighters. The last time I checked, 90% of their bills had cocaine. No, I'm just kidding.
Still had traces of XYZ.
Crazy ass stat in the UK, like cocaine is back over there, dude. They're gonna be fine, Miguel.
They're gonna pan out to the crowd, and it's gonna be that one bald dude with no eyebrows, like doing the fucking dance and shit. It's like they're ready. They're ready for the main event.
Everybody's just sweating.
Yeah.
The anticipation in this arena is through the roof.
We're gonna see Oscar ringside, like. Yeah. Like everybody's ready to get down. Shit. The only people that won't be on something are the guys in the fucking ring. Jeez.
I just play UK.
Yeah, sure. You guys are into that, of course not. Why not? But it's here now. We finally got it. I made a video. All right, on my other YouTube channel that I did was before I got into Fight and Radio, and this one, 2021. We thought we were going to get Fury and fucking Joshua in 2021. Tell me why that particular video did 38,000 fucking views. The biggest fucking viewership I've ever had on anything, because I thought it was going to get done. Here we are, nearly 5 years later, and we finally get the job done and across the finish line. Now, maybe I'm counting my chickens before they hatch. Who the hell knows if we'll get it done? As of right now, the tune-up fights are done, right? So that's the next fight it's going to be for both of these guys. So there are no more roadblocks unless we hit some, unforeseen hurdle that we can't get over. Yeah, injury or something that'll cause it a delay, something like that. Because I mean, this should be it, right? We're finally going to get it, and presumably it'll most likely be both their guys' last fights. Fury himself saying, yo, this is it, I'm done. AJ seeing, again, in my opinion, seeing the way he got dropped against Prenga, I don't think it's going to be Tyson. most likely get beat, in my opinion, at least, and then right off to the sunset, collect a nice big hefty paycheck, and call it a career. And what a way to go out! It's like this is one of the most anticipated fights, specifically in the UK, England, in a long time, maybe ever, and it'll do some humongous numbers here in the US. That would be a great way to just call it. Granted, it might not be a great way for one of them that's going to have to lose, unless we get some crazy shit like a draw. But you get my point. It's a great way to call it a career. What were you going to say?
Great numbers in US because of Netflix. That's the only reason. I don't think the girls would have bought this fight if it was pay-per-view like Lewis Tyson. I don't think we have as many views, but because it's on Netflix, bro, 80 million.
Whew. Yeah, we're calling it now. It's gonna do some crazy numbers on fucking Netflix. All right. Anything else we want to add to AJ Prenga, and I guess to some degree AJ and Tyson Fury before we move on to the next topic, which is kind of still has to do with it?
The winner of this fight, I know we're going long, but I got one more. The winner of this fight, does he really have to ride off into the sunset?
Has to, no, but I suspect they're gonna. Fury kind of sounds like he's already there. AJ can only take so many more shots. If he can't, he's not going to be Caballero. I don't think it's going to be Aitama. Those guys are just way too young and way too powerful. He probably should just ride off too. So whether they will or not, I don't know. I'm not saying they have to by any stretch. It just seems like that's the direction they'll go.
If the numbers are what I think they're going to be, and AJ, because Usyk is already gone, dude. Usyk's already given up his straps. He's walking away. While I like the names of the younger guys, inexperience might be their issue right now going up against either Fury or AJ, right? Yes, they have the power to knock out anyone, but it's the heavyweights. Everyone has power. I'm not sure the winner walks away. I think he becomes bigger. I think Netflix will definitely hook into these guys if they do, if this is as successful as I believe it's going to be. Especially if it's AJ, Miguel. I'm telling you right now, Netflix will be all over this young man if he gets this victory over Fury. That'll be almost 200 million views in 2 fights. I see big money coming. I don't know. I think the winner gets one more contract, and it might not be. He might not live it through it, and I don't mean die. I just mean he won't win. Okay, he won't. He might not win every fight on that contract, but I don't see. I think the money's too big right now, dude. The money's way too big, and the landscape kind of looks soft. Those guys are all green. They're very green. I know they're all prospects coming up. Dubois obviously already has the win on Anthony, so isn't that like a fucking guaranteed 80,000 seat sellout? Part 2, right?
Yeah.
You would think Dubois still has his title, right?
Yeah.
No, I guarantee you it's 80. Yeah, that's a guaranteed sellout.
Wait, Dubois still has his belt? No. The belt. Wait, that's right. He fucking beat Wardley. He fucking took the belt off. He lifted it off of Wardley. That's right. He does have a belt. Shit.
So there's, you know what I mean? I think that's a direct sellout. If AJ wins, it's a big if, but I don't see him walking away. So no, I think this fight's got big implications for the heavyweight division still, especially with Usyk walking. Now, if Usyk was still there with all the titles, hell yeah, both these guys are like, goodbye, daddy. It's your division. I'm out of here.
I actually thought you were going to lean towards a rematch. Like I don't think they walk away. They might do one more time. Like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it to him.
Usyk's already done it twice to him. That's enough. You can see he's already fucking AJ's mentor now. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah, so we'll see how that happens and whether or not we'll get it before the end of the year. Maybe that's wishful thinking. Maybe, we already prayed to the boxing gods to make sure both these guys win their fights. Maybe that's enough. Maybe the boxing gods are like, all right, he's going to pull a Dana White, be like, 2027, guys, watch, 2027. We'll get you guys a fight you guys have been dying for the last decade. All right. So
tomorrow will be announced for November.
Yeah. Right. Shit. Wouldn't that be something? I think the UK would lose their fucking mind. On the co-main event of that fight, the card was Sheeraz, Hamzah Sheeraz. If you guys are familiar with him, remember him. He has been a little bit since he's been out of the ring. I think May was his last fight, if I wanted to, if I want to recall correctly. But he took on one, if I can pronounce his last name properly, Simon Zachenhuber. I think that's how you say it. And he successfully defended his WBO super middleweight championship. Now he's kind of on the verge of having like one major fight, right? It's right around the corner. A more of a star performance against Berlanga. And is the official WBO champ at 168. And man, I was maybe where I'm holding Sheeraz to a higher, on a pedestal here, maybe a higher standard, but I wasn't too thrilled with his performance. It seemed very, lackluster. There was no urgency in him, and not to say that he was ever really in any serious danger, but I thought this is more of a showcase, so show us. It didn't look like that, not in my opinion, at least. After watching Sheeraz mop the floor with Berlanga, he's had one more fight since then. I'm just blanking out of the name. But point is, I was like, dude, this fucker he can probably be Canelo. Like, Canelo's on the way out. He can probably do it. Then I see this, and I'm like, oh, shit, maybe I spoke too soon. Let me pump the brakes on that. Hell, even one of the judges had it a freaking draw at 114-114. He wins on the other scorecards, 116-112 and 115-113. But we damn near had a majority draw. One of these, the judge that had it 115-113, one more round for Zachenhuber, right? Then we have ourselves a freaking draw. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that was a little too close. It never looked like Sheeraz was in any real serious danger. He was getting hit with some shots. Yeah, nothing major though. But it just seemed like he was going through the motions. It was just one of those fights, and it damn near escaped him. He got too close to comfort, at least for my liking. He ultimately kept his belt, so nothing happened there. But Andrew, what did you think of Sheeraz's performance? Whether or not that puts him in a position for a high-profile, big money fight or not? And this weird judges scored with 114-114.
Look at the judges' scorecard. I didn't even see that because I walked away when the final bell rang. I thought, unanimous decision. We're all going home. So whatever that scorecard was about, I don't know. I'm sure His Excellency is going to have a talk with that young man about not doing that BS again. Maybe he had his name wrong or something. I have no idea. What I want to say about Zachenhuber, the German, I believe he was a German fighter. His physique was outstanding going into that fight. If you looked at him, that's a guy who had weighed in 24 hours prior, yet was chiseled to the bone. Six-pack, everything was still showing. Let's not take too much credit away from him on just how average Sheeraz looked in this one. I know he's been looking spectacular in his last few fights. Looked a little bit more down to earth on this one, but maybe it was the opponent. Let's see him come back. Let's see him get another shot at someone before throwing everything on Sheeraz, just not being that guy. I thought he did excellent. The combinations, the patience, he was trying to walk him down, not just, walk into the fire, as we were saying last week. What we've seen a lot of tonight. He was trying to work his way in there behind a jab, using his height, using his reach. I liked everything I was seeing. He just couldn't get the young man to quit, under his punches. He couldn't break him down. But he did everything correct, I thought. I didn't see a lot of flaws, I guess is what I'm saying, right? I seen a very technical, sound fighter who was trying to break his opponent down, and it just didn't happen. But I never had the German young man leading around or anywhere close in the fight where I was like, oh, this is a close fight. Oh, Sheeraz is really getting touched up here. I just didn't have those type of feelings. I think they stay on the same path with Sheeraz that you have been. Wherever Turkey wants to take him, I believe the young man's ready for whoever they put him in the ring with. And I would like to see the German young man come back and get another shot in at Riyadh to see how good he actually is.
All right, all right. So it's really more so what the opponent did that didn't allow Sheeraz to look like a difficult opponent to look good against.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, he was there to win. He was there to look good. He was there to survive, and he did all of the above. In that young man's mind, he probably went home a winner. You know what I mean? Saying he went 12 with the champ. He was able to take the shots, got some shots in. Look, I got to go back to that beard. What is going on with boxing?
Oh,
Where
yes.
we're allowing these.
I saw that. Well, this was in Saudi Arabia, right? So maybe they let him get away with that shit. But dude, that shit was big.
But I thought it was in the rules of the WBO belt. See, we need to look in the rules of the belts, man, because that's where the rules are. I think where they would say you cannot have your beard. I mean, these beards are getting out of control. Like, when is it we're gonna just see someone with the full fucking mask? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, why not push it to the edge? You know, they're allowing everything. It seems like if I'm Anthony Joshua, I start growing today. Today, I'm Muslim.
He's gonna. I don't know if he can grow one, but you best believe we're gonna see that fucking operation, that surgery that Floyd had. Little prickles, right? The hair follicles. Before you know it, and then we're gonna be talking about it next year. Beardgate.
That would be funny. They came in the first press conference and one just glued onto his face.
Yeah, a mustache. I don't know. I've never seen him with any sort of facial hair. I mean, not that I remember. I'm sure he had that at some point, but a full-on beard, no. But that would be to his benefit as much as he possibly can. Hide that chin in that fight, but yeah, dude, Sheeraz's beard was fucking crazy, son. Like, and it looked unkempt, right? It would look like it wasn't even trimmed or anything like that, which is fine. It's his own shit, but you would think that they would have more control over that shit.
Way more control. You would think, look, you don't want the hair to get in people's eyes. There's just so many things that could be wrong. It's not just about the padding. You know what I'm saying? It's also about just the hair when the two are coming together. Him being able to rub his face into the other guy's eye or something like that. When is it until we see something like that being done? You know what I mean? Where they're actually using it as a weapon. And growing up, I just remember beards was always a no. Why did we go away from that? Yes, I understand in wrestling or some other college sport or something, they took it to some, I want to say the courthouse on getting it past that. Yeah, because it was his religion, they could not tell him to cut it. And I think they granted him, yes, that's you can't knock someone's religion for a sport. So is that what carried into all these other sports now? Is that why they were like, oh, we can't touch it? You remember that one case, what happened, blah blah blah. So I don't know if that's what's going on here, but I would like to get to the bottom of it because I think it's starting to become just a tad bit of an issue with guys. Just let's see if I could just go a little bit farther. Let me just see if I could go a little bit farther. When's it stop? Can you at least give us the length that it can be? How about that? Let's come together and tell everyone what's the size of the beard you can have before you're asked to cut it and not go to hell.
Well, I mean, but even then, they're going to continue to push the envelope. But where do we draw the line is the question, right?
That's
it's
right.
Like, oh, my religion says I have to have this magic carpet on me the whole fucking time. All right, so you bring it into the ring with you. Like, no, what the fuck? No. At some point you have to stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a hard line in the sand somewhere. It'd be like, okay, look, I get it. If you want to participate in the sport, homie, you're going to have to do it. So you choose, motherfucker. You want to go shave it off for the sport, great, or hold on to it for your religion. But we have to draw the line somewhere because it's not like it's something that's insignificant. It's not like it's something that won't make a difference. That can potentially make a difference in the fight. Getting in somebody's eye or rubbing it up on someone's fucking face. Like that shit, it's distracting. And it's not like, and let's not play dumb. Like guys are like, oh, I didn't know it would get in his eye. Motherfucker, it very well it does. So there needs to be a hard line in the sand at some point drawn. So like you said, at least the length or something like that. So we can all play by the same damn rules and no one's going against their religion or something along those lines. it's like my dad noticed it too. My dad was like, do you see his fucking? No, I didn't really pay attention to it. And then I saw him warming up. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that doesn't give two rats ass apparently. Like, even what's his name? Turkey. He's a beard, but it's short. It's pretty close, right? It's not like it's big ass thing. He has a beard. I mean, I don't know if in religion, I presume it is, but regardless, look at Turkey. He's got hair, and it's not crazy. I know he doesn't.
That's a great point. No, but that's a great point. At least about it doesn't have to be some enormous length. You know what I mean? That's a great point right there about looking at Turkey. Yeah.
Yeah. You have an example right there, Ryan. All right. Seeing after we see Sheeraz's performance, does he look ready for one of the other dudes? I mean, we saw him against, a Berlanga. We thought, the world of him. Now this 114 scorecard is kind of a little bit shaky, a tougher opponent than maybe even he thought. What's next? One of the big names, right? At this point, I mean, he had to be ready, right? Munguia or any other ones, right? Back the bully, we said it earlier. Pacheco, I think it was supposed to be. Oh yeah, that's right. Pacheco was the mandatory WBO for a little bit before he decided to go away from that. So we talked about it a few weeks ago. Some of the possible opponents for Diego Pacheco being Beck the Bully and Jaime Munguia. Then we since learned that they too are talking to one another, to possibly have a fight coming up. So, hey, is it too early? I mean, not too early, but is this too deep? I know we've talked about throwing Diego Pacheco in the deep end already because he needs to be there. But is this too deep with Sheeraz? He turned it down once before, but is he ready now? Like, do you think now is the time for Sheeraz and Pacheco?
Now is it time? Is it now? It's time because of the ranking. It's premature if you're trying to maximize the money that this fight could have made, right? So if I'm them, I would probably try to take Pacheco. Who is this IBF champion who's 15-0-14? Iglesias?
Oh yeah, Cuban.
He's in the Cuban kid.
Yeah,
I'm trying to take that title off of him if it's doable. If he's been doing nothing but fighting, a bunch of taxi cab drivers, whatever, over there, padding his record. Why not try to either unify with Sheeraz? That'd be the WBO and IBF put up in one night. They're both undefeated, right? Doesn't that seems like a juicier fight for Sheeraz than right to Pacheco, where Pacheco with the right building blocks could be a major ticket seller for you later on. That could be a big time payday. I like staying on the path of Pacheco either fighting Munguia, Martinez, or Resendiz over in LA. I really think the Martinez fight could sell in our LA, even though he's from Guatemala. I do believe there's Latin America would represent both sides. The Mexicans and the Guatemalans would come out for that fight. So I like those three still on Pacheco's radar. And if I'm Sheeraz, I'm looking to unify this title with the other undefeated youngster. Both of them young. Both of them are green, right? I don't know the stats on Iglesias if he's as tall as Sheeraz, but I like that fight. I think I'm leaning more to a unification for Sheeraz. And maybe he headlines in Riyadh next time just to see if the locals, how big of a fan base does he have out there? You know what I mean? Let's put him in a unification.
So don't quite clip the wings on Pacheco yet. There's still money to be made with him. Let's not fucking cut that short.
No, because Sheeraz looked. If I'm Pacheco, I'm looking at Sheeraz as the money in that division. Soon, Sheeraz is going to have Turkey backing him 100%. Right? They can go after Munguia, Resendiz, and Martinez and become a bigger star for Turkey and Sheeraz later on than doing that fight right now. So it's not really a clipping of the wings. They're both young. They both have other options that are great options for boxing. For us fans, Sheeraz unifying with the IBF champ who's undefeated at 15-0-14, to me, is not a knock for that kid. He's young. They're both going after titles. I think that's a great fight. And then those three fights lined up for Pacheco. Hell, he's an underdog in probably most of them. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that that's a bad path for him either. So no, they have options, and I don't think they need themselves right now. If I'm Turkey, I'm thinking about the future, and those two names might still be around after this little somewhat tournament is done in the super middleweight division.
All right, all right. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Unification before, because I mean, it could be a humongous moneymaker down the line. If Sheeraz unifies and then Pacheco goes that direction, that could be a big money fight. And yeah, him headlining over there would be pretty dope. Sheeraz, I'm talking about. At that point, having two belts, if he's able to do that, yeah, I'm down with that. That's a good.
Yeah.
It's a good game plan. It's a good route. Anything else you want to add to the Sheeraz victory before we move on to the fight before that one?
No, sir.
All right. So this next one was kind of a sloppy one. Josh Kelly put his IBF championship on the line, 154 pounds, against this gentleman who I cannot pronounce his first name for the life of me. Ajarko is how his last name is pronounced, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys happen to recall, a few months ago, I covered a fight here in Las Vegas where Ajarko was supposed to be the main event. He was going to fight against Brandon Adams in the main event. That was an IBF title eliminator. That fight was the winner of that fight was supposed to fight against Josh Kelly down the line. Unfortunately, Adams fell ill, and that fight was completely removed from the card. And it looks like Ajarko basically just got the leap forward and got the title shot immediately. So against Josh Kelly. Now, boy, oh boy, was this fight sloppy as hell. Everything from punching, a rabbit punching, behind the head, low blows, point deduction for low blows, and headbutt after headbutt after headbutt. If you guys saw Josh Kelly's face after this fight, you would think he was, in a barn burner of a scrap where, punches were just coming at him at all directions and fucked him up. All of the cuts on his face, if I recall correctly, were all by headbutts. Every single friggin' one of them. Maybe with the exception of one, but I'm almost certain they were all headbutts. What a sloppy ass fight this was. Regardless, Josh Kelly held on to his IBF championship title, winning a unanimous decision. One of those might have been a different because of the different score because of the point deduction, but regardless, he held on to his championship. Now, the 154-pound weight class is freaking stacked right now. What we're talking about, and this even Zaya still, because even if he doesn't have the belts, he's still in the picture. Virgil Ortiz, Fundora, one of their champions here is Josh Kelly. Andrew, we were watching this fight. We were kind of texting during it. Boy, what a sloppy ass fight it was. But I was impressed with Kelly's composure. Yes, he was the one that was deducted a point for the low blows, but by and large, he didn't. There were a few times where he did turn to complain to the ref, but by and large, he didn't. He's like, fuck, we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to play dirty. Let's do it. And he did what he needed to do to hold on to the belt. Great composure, former Olympian. So the guy knows how to handle high stress situations like that. Ajarko looked just a little too inexperienced. Slightly slower, nothing crazy slower because he was still pretty fast, but Kelly just had that extra quickness to him, but Kelly held on to his belt. You watched the fight. What did you think of Kelly's performance and, of course, his opponent's performance as well?
I agree. It was a dirty fight. I came in on the 5th round, I believe, on this one. I had it a draw at the end.
Oh, shit, really? All right.
Yeah, but I kept
the deduction?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, because I have it 4-4. So actually, I have the young man ahead.
Yeah.
Now I tell Junior though, I came in on round 5, so we don't know what the first 5 rounds look like. I said it could be where Kelly wiped this guy out in the first 5, and then it got close at the end here, but we didn't see the first 5. But it was a very close fight from what I did see. I'm gonna tell you, from day one, it took this young man 10 years to get a title. You need to get him paid and move on. We're not doing any more title defenses. We're not taking on any more up-and-comers. And Eddie Hearn hella echoed it right after the fight. He said Josh Kelly did this because it was a mandatory. In his next fight, he deserves the championship money that comes with the belt. And I think you and me know that that's politically correct in saying we're going to get him paid. We're selling this to the highest bidder. That's all it's about. There was really Look it. His name is Pretty Boy Kelly,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Fights with his hands down, has no business naming himself Pretty Boy Kelly, and has no business fighting with his hands down. He does not have the reflexes. He does not have the defense. He will be knocked out when he faces an American. And when he faces a top tier 154 pounder over here, he will be knocked out. His face did not hold up. You want to say headbutts, punches, whatever. I seen like fucking 3 cuts on this kid's face at the end of this fight. Like every time because some of them, that broken nose to me, it was maybe started by an elbow, there was like a little nick, but then there's one uppercut, bro, where it just like boom, it just opens, and he's bleeding all over the mat. Let's get the title off of him. Great job in marketing this young man and getting him there. Miguel, the way he was fighting, you could tell he's gotten away with a lot of bullshit fights in his career, right? He's been put in with B opposition and all this hands down and fighting like thinking you're Floyd fucking Mayweather. Has been working in high school gyms over in the UK somewhere, wherever he's been fighting. But on this night, it did not work. It almost cost him the title. He did bite down. He did fight through it, but there's no reason to make him do that again. Let's get him the biggest fight we can. And if you're ready, you're going to win and make more money. And if you're not, at least you made the most money in your career. And that, you can start from, day one, but it took him 10 years to win that title. So I think he just goes back to the UK and fights whatever little fights he was doing from the very beginning anyways.
In his previous fight, I can never pronounce the last name, but he defeated Bakram Muratsaliev, who knocked out Tszyu, and in that fight before then. And in that fight, he was ahead on the scorecards. There was a couple of times where he dropped Bakram. One was more so off balance. I think the other one was legit. But anyway, towards the end of the fight, it looked like Bakram was starting to get to him. He was running a lot, he was holding a lot, and it looked like if he just can stay on his feet, he wins the fight. And he was able to stay on his feet. And even then, one of the scorecards was 114, and it was a close draw, if I'm not mistaken, at least on that. He ended up winning a majority decision because the judge just had it in his favor. But he just won the belt literally in his last fight, but that was back in January, and this was his first title defense. So, boom, title defense out of the way. The way you meant it, the way you said it, just the highest bidder. It's like I can imagine them putting up the IBF belt. Like, all right, who wants it? Fundora, Ennis, Fundora, anybody's like highest bidder? Yeah, okay, that's what it's going to be pretty much. But at the very least, he's going to get the biggest payday of his career. I don't know if he beats any one of those guys. The way he fought, Jarko, I don't think he definitely doesn't beat Ennis. I don't think he beats Fundora. He definitely doesn't beat Ortiz. Do you think with a style like that, he'll beat somebody like Xander, even still, like after his, losing the belts to Ennis, of course, but we saw more so inexperience than anything else. Do you think the style can at least beat him and grant bid that belt off, but somebody like Xander?
Xander's a great fight if he's still a project and you're still trying to get him to the top. Because he already has a title, I don't think the Zayas fight is in play right now. It really seemed like Eddie Hearn knows what he has there, and it's time to get this young man into a big fight. So I expect him to be placed with one of the champs. Look, you guys, we said it in the very beginning. It's going to be Boots. It's going to be Ennis, dude. I can guarantee you they are not moving on with the Ortiz fight. It's going to be Kelly. That's an easy payday. It's another title. It separates you more from Ortiz to make them look more douchier than they already do. It's a done deal. Kelly versus Boots Ennis most likely is the next fight.
There were talks that there was already possible that fight going. There were already talks, and this is what we've read, of course, and that's from what we understand. Of course, this is from the outside looking in. But when I read articles online, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's already possible, because they're both matchroom guys. It's going to be an in-house fight. It's going to be something that can be made relatively easily, and it'll be a nice payday for for Joshua Kelly. But, now, man, this is kind of, I can almost see it happening. We're gonna try to get Ortiz and Boots. Ortiz and their people are gonna think they're gonna have the same deal as before, right? Boots and his people are gonna be like, no, bro, that's not how it works. The plans are gonna fall through, and Joshua Kelly is gonna be the backup, and we're gonna get Kelly and Boots. Of course, in-house, why not? You know, I'm almost certain that's the direction that's going to be happening. So on the outside, it'll look like they might try to make the Virgil Ortiz fight happen, but we're already seeing it. It seems as though Virgil and his people think they're going to get the same deal, or at least that's what it seems. And Matchroom and Eddie Hearn has already said, no, bro, we got 2 belts now. That's not going to work. Add a third one to that, shit, man. They're Virgil and his people are really fucked.
Yeah, no, most definitely. You know what? Yeah, dude, that young man was throwing the weirdest 1-2 that I've ever, not that I've ever seen, but that it was bad. It was bad. It was one of the worst ones that I've seen in a while. He was literally throwing that 1-2 while not moving his head off the line. He was just putting it down and keeping his left hand down here at his waist, right? Because he does this whole thing, right? So he's throwing his right hand, and he's literally just ducking his head, but keeping it right there. And the challenger was hitting him, but he wasn't doing the damage that a Fondura will do, a Boots Ennis will do. You cannot leave your head in the middle, your left, no defense whatsoever, and just brace yourself. That's our game plan. We're just going to take it off the top? Nah, dude, you're going to get your ass knocked out. Look, you want to know why his face looks so fucked up? Because he doesn't move his head off the line, so anything lands. Elbows, headbutts, whatever you throw down the middle, it's going to land on this kid. I guarantee you. Boots Ennis, every trainer out there seen the flaw, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going out. He's got a target on him. All Eddie has to do is, who do I want to pin it with? Oh, yeah, my guy. Come here, Boots. Come here, baby.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Like Boots said, I promise you another belt, or didn't I promise you another belt? Yeah, we got him.
And it's a great, that's great promoting, though, by Eddie. He kept that young man undefeated. The dude's a ticket seller. You can see that. He's got the body. He's got the young looks. He's got everything going for him. So Eddie did a great job of getting him to the top of the mountain. Now it's time to cash in, and you got the guy to cash him in on your side, too. Easy deal. Fuck out of here. Ortiz, he's like, Ortiz who? That's what he said last night. Yeah. Ortiz who? Don't even know that guy. I'll delete his name until 2027. Delete him out of my phone book.
Like Victor Ortiz, he's over there in bare knuckle. No, I don't know. I don't know Ortiz. It's Ortiz, the guy over there fighting bare knuckle. That guy. We got at the end too, or maybe Wednesday. But bare knuckle got a little piece of professional boxing this week, huh? Oh, with the
Vargas boys,
Vargas brothers. Oh, yeah,
both of them.
Oh man.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that on Wednesday, because that was wild. That'd be one of the things we're going to talk about. You know, we suspect that things are going to get a little ugly, and things got a little ugly. All right. Anything? Oh, you know what? Oh, just one more thing. What did you think of the pay-per-view overall? I know all the fights were pretty okay. You know, I think it was like $60 or $65 or something like that. So if you order the pay-per-view, you probably did get your money's worth, because the fights were pretty entertaining. That one specifically early in the morning. I don't know who would want to watch it early in the morning, but not that card. Right? I mean, not being. We'll talk about Spence and that fucking debacle pay-per-view fight. But
yeah, I was entertained. They were good fights. The Kelly fight was bloody. They were going back and forth. Sheeraz, I was more interested in him than the actual fight itself. He did great. He came out, he performed again. He looks like he's going to be the star that Turkey's looking for the Riyadh season. So yeah, overall it was a and then come on, the main event. How can you not get better than that? That's why I'm like, why is everyone knocking the main event on? Oh, that was fixed. To me, that was a great heavyweight scrub again. It's fight. You know what I mean? Fucking one guy gets dropped twice, comes back to knock him out in the next round. You're out of there in 6 minutes. Let's go. That's what heavyweight boxing is supposed to be, right? Like, Unfortunately, that's why the UFC is so popular, right? That bell rings, motherfuckers go in there and they chunk. That's what we seen. All of a sudden, boxing fans, oh, that was fixed. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, you can't please everyone, right? I mean,
right. I know.
For as long as it lasted, it's like, oh, we get like, oh, these guys just danced around for 12 rounds, they didn't do shit, and then we got 2 fucking hella knockdowns. Oh, come on, really?
It's fine. Yeah, exactly.
There's not much we can fucking talk about here. Like, there's
not
so much we
can
do. Yeah, like boxing's so fucking corrupt, man.
Oh yeah, and they're saying that about tonight. I swear to God, they're saying that already. I've seen it said about tonight. I don't. Because the way he stopped the fight. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. Can't make everyone happy.
Not everybody deserves access to the internet. I'm just saying. All right, so this moves on to the pay-per-view card later on that evening that was quite a disaster, and by that I mean 2 fights falling through. The co-main event, the original co-main event that was supposed to feature Jamal Charlo. I think I got it right that time. It's that Charlo. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to take it to Australia. Australia said, no, you got a pretty nasty criminal record, homie. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. I mentioned this on Wednesday. You would think this is one of the first things they would try to for even signing a fight like this, but ultimately it happened. And then Stephen Fulton gets moved up to the co-main event, and this happens after our Wednesday show. The fight was scheduled for 130 pounds. He requested the fight or the weight to be moved to 133 pounds. He weighs in the day of the weigh-in at 139 pounds. I think read a quote from Steve Kim saying, yay, he made it under the junior welterweight division. Good news, bad news, the schedule of 133. So it looks like that fight fell through. So now, we get 2, PBC names that get dropped from the card. This was PBC's first DAZN card, if I'm not mistaken, the first major one. And to start on this foot, I can't imagine DAZN or even Amazon Prime being pleased with things. But thankfully, the event stayed in Texas. Tszyu taking on Errol Spence. But however, even that fight didn't have its issues with Spence moving the weight himself from 158 to 160, making it a middleweight fight. And before we get to this fight, what the hell? These PBC guys just don't give 2 bucks at this point. They're like, you know what? I'm making my fucking rules. Let's make this fight at 168. Why not? Just because, whatever the shit. We knew that was the case for Spence. This is kind of going through the motions. Maybe, as you mentioned it before, Al Heyman owed him a fight and said, all right, let's go ahead and do it. Last payday, call it a career. But man, it seems though no one gives 2 fucks. It seems like they just phoned in this one in with 2 fights falling through. Before we get to the main event, wow, this pay-per-view card really fell apart in the 11th hour, I guess I should say.
Yeah, there's not too much loyalty anymore. Loyalty only lays with the money now, and it seems like Al Heyman has lost all of his money, so his guys are no longer paying attention. It totally unprofessional move by Fulton.
Thank you. That was what I was looking for. I mentioned earlier, but you're right.
Yeah, to go out there and waste all those people's money, make them do a plane ticket to get you there, just everything, they're the ones that put up for the rooms and everything. And then to come in almost 10 pounds overweight like you didn't even try. A real sad look. You have Charlo, who unfortunately, look, I don't want to put all the blame on Charlo, but he's got a bad look anyways because it was his criminal past that stopped him from going. So you have that, right? We're sending a criminal out there that should have known he was on the no-fly list. You know what I'm saying? Somebody should have known, but then we have another fighter go out there who doesn't even look like he attempted to make weight. And then we have a main event guy that everyone's calling blind. Everyone's saying that he's mailing it in for this fight. And what does he do 5 minutes after the bell rings? I retire. Oh, yeah, I'm done. Hey, thanks for the $6 million, you guys, but I'm out. $6 million is what they're saying Spence got paid. Once again, I don't know where this money comes from. Do you know they're saying it was $11 million total for that main event? That is, Tszyu is making $5 million and Spence was making $6 million. Where, Miguel? Where does this money come from? I can't believe that just Australia was bringing in 11 million on the profit, and that's even before you turn a profit. 11 million guaranteed for Australian driven only fight, because I can't see this thing getting that many views anywhere else. Tszyu is not even really accepted by his father, so it's not like Russia is over there like, oh, Tszyu, yeah, the Australian kid, we hella love him. No, they're not. Where does the 11 million come from, dude? So I don't know where the money's coming from, but they ripped us off. They ripped us off. Spence ripped us off I hate when fucking guys retire immediately after the fight. Don't do it. Bad look, bro. You look like you fixed the fight. They're fucking telling us you fixed the fight going in. Then after the fight, you immediately call it good. And then in the press conference, he doubles down. He's like, oh, yeah, why do I got to do this? I want to be with my family. And I don't know. Maybe he signed a contract for $6 million. You might want to give it an effort.
Right.
That's it with Spence. I won't be watching Spence again. I won't be watching his comeback fight or his fucking goodbye fight or any other fights from him. That he's Mike Tyson to himself now, you know, with the whole, what do you say? I don't have a love for this anymore. Remember that? We should have all stopped watching. Unfortunately, Mike has sold himself a few other times that got a lot of views, but I don't think anyone took him serious after that. And I think Spence should be in the same fucking list now. His fire is no longer. He was there last night for a paycheck, unfortunately.
What's his name? I saw a quote from one Stephen Fulton, basically apologizing for his unprofessionalism. He goes to say, he says, why would I fly all the way to Australia with no intention to make weight? It's my fault. Yes, I take accountability, but I gave it my all. Once I got to 138 pounds, I wasn't sweating anymore. I thought and believed I could make the weight, said Fulton. So terrible dieting. We don't know what exactly happened during training camp. It could be any number of things, anything from as serious of him getting sick and unfortunately having to take time out of the gym, or him just basically half-assing it, thinking he can make the weight, and then last minute turns out that he couldn't. Any number of things. No. But what?
I believe this had everything to do with the show is just a disaster, Miguel. I honestly think the way these PBC contracts are set up now is if the pay-per-view numbers are not reaching a certain mark, motherfuckers are getting dropped off of the card. They will not go through with the card. Al Heyman's doing no IOUs anymore. There is no IOU to give. You know what I'm saying? I think these fighters are smart. Like, everyone, you heard Adrian Broner double down on it again this week saying, PBC never paid me. Did you hear him say that?
Yeah.
He goes, I used to have to call and get the exact amount that he was asking for. What the fuck? So they can owe you $10 million. They can owe you $10 million. You can't get your $10 million, but if you called them and said, hey, I need 2.3 to buy a house, Al Heyman would wire you the 2.3 that you needed to buy the house. What? How stupid can you be? There is
like,
no more.
What's to say they're like, all right, hey, I need the whole 10 million. Go ahead and send me the 10 million. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy that they allow PBC and Al to have this much control over the finances like that.
Yes, the investing, the bank. He was everything. And then he goes, and then finally when I said, can you please just give me my money that I worked for? He told him you don't have any left. I already gave it all to you. And I guess Adrian wasn't smart enough to keep his fucking receipts to see, hey, well, did he actually give me 10 million? All right, I bought a house, I bought a car, and then put the money together to see what did PBC. I'm telling you, I don't think this is going to end well for Al and Adrian. I've always said that. Adrian's brought it up again about being robbed by Al Heyman. We had Mayweather, he's still in denial, but he knows somebody robbed him. He's putting the pieces together. Don't worry, he'll catch up soon, Miguel. He's gonna get there.
Everybody not named Al Heyman robbed him pretty much at this point.
Hey, it's
It
probably
wasn't Al.
AB.
No, everybody else.
It's probably AB telling him too, bro. It was Al, right? He's like,
Yeah.
shut up, man.
It's like, did he rob you? Did he rob you? Like, yeah, I think he did. Yeah, like, fuck. It wasn't Al. I promise, it wasn't Al. But this was PBC's first pay-per-view card or main card on DAZN. What a terrible look right off the bat. I don't know. I know that the card or the pay-per-view was on Amazon Prime as well. Pay-per-view $79.99. I highly doubt anybody forked up the cash for something like that. But this definitely would leave a terrible taste in DAZN's mouth after the poor turnout for this particular card and the fights that fell through. Do you think DAZN right now is kind of punching the air like we should not have signed these motherfuckers? It is kind of cards these fools.
No, because they have Al and Miguel. If you want to clock out and then try to get back in, you're pretty bad. I don't know how the recording's going, bro, but yeah, I'm not seeing you and I'm hearing you as a robot for like the last 5 minutes. I'm getting pieces of what you're saying, so I'm able to put it together, but it's a really bad connection on your end. Just try to go out and come back in real fast. And I will answer the question about is DAZN regretting the Al Heyman purchase? And what I'll say to that is no. No, they're not, because they have Al Heyman in a perfect position right now to basically get all of his fighters on a low dime. So no, why would you tell him to go away? He's got no power. He's got no leverage right now in the negotiating, besides being the manager to some of these fighters, co-promoter, however you want to state it, with whatever PBC. There you go. So basically my answer a lot better too. Now I can see you again. So basically my answer was no. I don't think DAZN is upset with signing PBC, because they have PBC in a perfect position right now to basically get all their fighters on a very cheap price. They know Al doesn't have the leverage that he once had with these guys. Basically these guys thought he walked on water. I clearly don't. I think their feelings have changed about that lately, especially when you see where Floyd Mayweather is financially and where Adrian Broner says he was with the PBC. You got to think there was. Can you imagine what the other fighters' stories are like if AB, a 4-division champion, was in this kind of financial situation? What was he doing to the small fish in the PBC stable? So the stories aren't going to stop about what was going on there. But no, I think PBC moves forward with them. That gives them easier access to all of his guys, and they're going to rely on DAZN a lot more now, because DAZN is actually the ones paying them now, and is no longer Al Heyman's IOUs.
Yeah, I don't know where those IOUs are coming from. I mean, like where they're going to be paid out of, really, at this point. So the
bro, can you imagine all the deductibles on some of these guys' checks? Probably. Oh, that gym that you used. Oh, the car that I sent you. Oh, the time that I did this for you. He must have, dude. He probably has like their total income on just a board, and just starts marking down every fucking thing he's done for you. And by the time you're ready to get, hey, can I just get my money? Oh, well, dude, not only did I give you $7 million, but $3 million you spent just on life, just on me getting you your gym time, your travel, your stay. I could only imagine that the hidden fees that one PBC has on some of these guys that soon will come out. Believe me, there will be some all-tell books coming out on Al Heyman.
I picture Al like one of those like slimy car salesman, that has like all these like, oh yeah, so this is hydrogen and air in your wheels. Oh, this is going to cost you an extra $5,000. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, like yeah, remember that car that I sent you? Yeah, it has in the glass tint. There's the fucking VIN number. Like, I didn't ask for that shit. Well, tough shit is there, and I'm taking it off now. Like, that's pretty much how I can imagine the type of contracts that Al Heyman has with some of his fighters.
The tickets. You remember when you wanted your mom, your sister You think that's free? No, those were $20,000 a seat. You know, it's just the hidden fees that are all over this guy's contracts. Now that we know he was totally controlling their money, all he had to do is find a negative. Give me a negative, and I'm putting it on the board. And his guys are just out there all day. Hey, sir, he asked for a watch today. Throw it on the board. Give him the money. Throw it on the board. Like,
and the markup is like, well, the watch is 200,000. Put 500,000. Okay, 500,000. Boom, boom, boom. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and then didn't he have a dealer that they went? Didn't we hear a story that PBC also had a jeweler that they would go to?
Hear that? No. Are you fucking serious?
Wednesday show, you guys. Wednesday show. No, I think they do, bro. I really do think and that's where your markup comes. That's where your markup comes. Yes, sir. Hey, can I put 50 grand in for me? Fuck yeah, you can. Lonzy put 150 for me. Do whatever you want. No, you're absolutely right on that. I do think they had one though.
Like part of the contract says you have to thank Al Heyman afterwards. One of those kind of things. Like even the jewelers are like, oh, I'd like to thank Al Heyman. You want to watch now? All right.
Hey, there was that one guy that used to be at all the PBC fights. The little Asian kid, right? The jewel with the grills.
Yeah.
Remember, he was at a lot of
PBC
PBC fights. I wonder if that might have been him right there.
Oh man. So nothing to write home about the the undercard, but the main event is what we were there for. Tszyu, historically a 154-pound fighter. I thought this fight was going to take place there. As I said earlier, it turns out the fight was scheduled to take place at 158 pounds before Spence himself decided to, call in and say, yeah, let's make it 160. Why not? And then when asked about it, he's like, yeah, I wanted to. That's pretty much what the fuck the answer was, that he wanted to fight at 160. And Tszyu agreed. It wasn't like he wasn't down. And if you guys watched the fight, it was more competitive than it should have been. Andrew, I guess is the best way I can put it. I was watching Tszyu. Seemed I don't know, and I was listening to some of the commentary. I think it was Paulie Malignaggi that was saying it. And someone else was saying that. I forget who else was repeating it. Oh, it might have been Sean Porter. He was letting Spence live. I heard that a few times. Basically saying he's letting him off the hook. He's basically allowing him to go the 10 or 12 rounds, whatever the fuck it was. I forgot what it was. But basically, Tszyu should have done a lot more. I've seen some people. I don't remember if it was Steve Kim or Dan Rayfield, one of the two, that brought it up on their articles afterwards. It was one-shot fighter who beat a guy who was even more shot than him. That's pretty much what the way they described it. Tszyu came away with the decision, a unanimous decision victory at middleweight. Before we get into the post-fight interviews, which you kind of already touched on a little bit, but Andrew, what did you see out of Tszyu in this one here? I was scoring it. My feed kind of got stuck a few times, so I think I missed a couple of rounds, but ultimately it didn't matter too much. Did Tszyu have just a little too much respect for Spence, or was there something, that little bit of fire still left in Spence, that put the performance that he did last night?
No, dude, I thought it was the fight that I was thinking it was going to be. Walking through fire. Errol's going to throw his shots. They're going to land. If it hurts him, it hurts him. If it doesn't, Tim gets through him. That's kind of what I was watching. Tim didn't do anything special, man. He comes right in. He's throwing his jab right hand. It's cracking Spence, but Spence landed his punches too. It was back and forth. I would say from the middle of that fight, though, it started losing my interest, because I felt Tim was pulling away, and you could see the body language of Spence was crumbling. His confidence was going down. The punches started landing. There was a lot of moments where you could clearly see Spence isn't seeing the shit coming anymore. He's kind of just like putting up his hands and doing all of this shit, but there is no. I don't think he's seeing the obviously the rumors of his sight being off are very true. So yes, well, in the first 4 or 5 rounds, I'm all into the fight, fucking hoping Spence is gonna somehow pull this off. By the end, no, I had lost interest, and it was kind of sad seeing Spence go down like that. But it is what it is. He signed up to do the fight, so that's what he did, and and Tszyu moves on. Look, I'm gonna say Tszyu's pretty smart for all the decisions that he's making right now. Moving to 160, fighting Spence there in Australia. You could see it was a packed house. You heard him when he said, what did he say? Something like, "This is the biggest win of my career," and the crowd just went fucking crazy, bro. Like he had just beaten Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was. I mean, you could totally see they're buying into whatever he's selling. He's a lightweight Jake Paul. He's a poor man's Jake Paul over there for them right now, right? So
Yeah.
so why the fuck would you fight Fondura again or go after freaking Zayas or Bootsen? And these guys are all potential pound for pound guys. Now give me Laurie. Give me Keith Thurman, right? That's who I want to fight over here in Australia. I'll pack the house, get $5 million for that fight. He's smart. He went business. He's forgetting about legacy and try to move his way on, see if he can do it at the 160. You know, who's the other champion? Carlos Adame?
Yeah, Adames.
Adames, very big puncher. Not too technical though. Where Tszyu has at least a good jab right hand. He throws sound combinations. Doesn't move his head. It'd be a tough fight, but I think more winnable fight than if he stays at 154 and fights these pound for pound guys. I don't think Adames is going on the pound for pound ranking list. But the 154-pound division might see two guys go on the pound for pound viz. Let's get the fuck out of that division, Tszyu. That's what they told him.
Yeah. And I was
go ahead.
Oh no, I was thinking he was gonna go and just try to call out some of these guys at 154 and was like, "Was it Laura? Yeah, Laura." Like he goes in and asks him, like, "Yeah, that guy." Like, okay, I guess he's staying at 160, I suppose. But yeah, that one that seemed like that kind of came out of nowhere for me. I thought he was gonna get back to like 154 guys, but it seems as though 160 is the way he's gonna stay. And all right, I don't blame him. Laura I think is another PBC dude, an older guy, and he was supposed to fight Johnny Beck. Johnny Beck tested positive for something, got suspended, and apparently is going to come back to 168. So he won't be at 160. That's kind of a wide open weight class. Even if it isn't. I mean, even if it's with Adames, Tim Tszyu has a better shot there at 154 at 160 than 154. Did you didn't think that Tim could have at least cranked it up to another gear and maybe gotten Spence out of there? Because ultimately he got the win, so a big name like Spence on his record is a good thing, but to have finished them in a much more spectacular fashion would have done a little bit more for Tszyu. You don't think he could have done that? It seemed like he just kept his foot in like neutral the whole fucking time.
Oh, I definitely think he tried to get
you
Spence.
think? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It looked like he was. I mean, he made Spence's head look at the lights a few times. He's just not that guy, right? I mean, Spence was at one point elite, dude. And Spence used to take a lot of shots. Spence would walk through fire to beat guys back in the day, right? He threw 1,000 punches. He kind of he walked you down. Tszyu might have felt that power and didn't want to stay in there too long, or was a little cautious on just letting his hands go every round. So I definitely thought he was in there to win it. I didn't see him trying to outbox Spence, but he never got like over aggressive, and that could have been Spence's punching power keeping him at bay. Spence was throwing his shots. It was a decent fight going, man. At least for 4 rounds, I was seeing Spence landing some shit, but like I said, Spence's confidence looked like it was going down by the end of that fight. So that's all that happened there. But I liked it. It was a decent fight. I think Tszyu got enough enough points to move on. The Lara fight's interesting. Look, I would have Lara beating Tszyu back in the day, though. So once again, Tszyu can be confident all he wants. The only thing he should be confident about is that Lara's not going to be on the pound for pound ranking anytime soon. But I mean, seriously, Lara is just as capable as outpointing Tszyu than Tszyu is outpointing Lara. So it's not a guaranteed win if them two get down and fight, but a way more winnable fight for Tszyu than if he stays at 154. That's the obvious here.
Am I back?
Yeah. So basically, Miguel, Lara is a winnable fight, but it's not a guarantee. Back in the day, I would have had Lara beating Tszyu. So Tszyu should be confident that he's in a division where it's winnable. A lot more winnable than the 154. I would have him an underdog and probably getting stopped by some of those guys. So that's why he's at 160. But don't be surprised if I put some money down on Lara if that fight really does go through. Because Lara's a hell of a boxer, bro. Like he's not gonna stand in front of you. Yes, he's older now, so he doesn't move as much, but he still has a little technical. What would you say? Well, he still can move defense, right? He still knows how to move around in the.
He's still fundamental. He still has the fundamentals
for his age. You know what I'm saying? He's not mailing it in yet. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's not like Tim is a knockout puncher anyway.
As we've seen this weekend, absolutely right. Against you didn't get a pupil. You didn't get a pupil, Miguel.
Right.
So yeah, you're right about that. And Lara might be some money if they're giving the odds. It might lay some money on Lara.
Yeah. Terrence Crawford was ringside. We'll get to him shortly, but for Spence's side, boy, his balance was all over the fucking place. It was bad. Granted, we didn't want to have to hear it at the end of the fight, like you said, that he's going to retire because now it just looks bad. But there was really no choice. You see, he doesn't have it anymore. It's beat out of him, be it his outside of the ring lifestyle or the ass open at the hands of Crawford. Bottom line is he's a shot fighter. He doesn't have it anymore. His balance is off. Some of the punches that he threw looked like he was pushing them. Some had a little bit of snap, but mostly it was pushing him. We know that the eye was messed up, right? It didn't take too much damage. It didn't look like, at least. Afterwards, he pretty much said, yeah, this is it. States that he has his faculties intact for as he possibly can at this point. But he does. Whether or not they'll get any worse between now and later on in his life, I don't know. But as of right now, he has it. So he's calling it quits now. And he says that he's okay financially. He made a decent amount of money, and I'm sure he did, especially if he was with Al for as long as he was. But maybe we'll hear some fucking stories down the line about Errol Spence as well. But definitely sucks that we're hearing it like that afterwards, because it kind of taints the fight a little bit that Spence decided to just announce it afterwards. But glad to hear that he's finally moving on, right? I mean, we kind of figured it was the case anyway after being out of the ring for 3 years and then coming back and put on a performance like this. But to briefly talk about Spence, you mentioned you didn't like the fact that he fucking announces a retirement immediately after the fight. But I mean, no other choice, really. I mean, we kind of figured that was going to be the case, right? He kind of had to just come out and say it.
Yeah, just don't do it after the fight. You don't have to do it immediately after the fight. You could have said, I came here with the hopes of winning. Hats off to Tszyu. He fought a great fight, a lot stronger than I thought he was going to be. And then a week later, hey, guess what? I'm retiring. I thought about it. I'm done. But to do it right after, you damn near confirmed everyone that said you were throwing this thing, right? To me, you said it so fast, I think you were retired before you got in,
Right. Yeah. He steps into the ring and he's like, any questions? Like, I'm going to call it. Like, no, any questions? The fight hasn't started yet. Don't be fucking saying it yet. We wait until after the fight that we interview you in the ring, and then you say it. Not yet.
You have any questions? I'm over this, dog. I'm over it.
Yeah. I got my faculties. No, leave that speech till later. Like, oh shit. Okay. All right. We still got 36 minutes to go through before I actually fucking say it. Yes, Errol. Leave that in your corner, please.
Yeah.
Crawford himself said it. He was ringside and he said, he doesn't have it anymore, right? That's it. He did what he could do and he was able to survive the 12 rounds. Here's where I'm going to throw in my promoter hat here. We talked about Lara, right? There are people from what I've been reading, people reporting, Crawford plans to return to the ring. That's no surprise. Hell, he even returns or plans to return to middleweight. Wants to do a run at middleweight, right? Well, who perfectly than the guy that he just saw win in the ring? And neither did Tszyu. He didn't exactly throw Crawford's name out there or anything like that. But I'm looking at it like, Crawford is ringside. Of course, this is the fight that they're going to go with. I don't know if they're really going to go that direction, but I'm just throwing that out there because it seems like that's the direction they're going to go, even though Tim did say Lara. Andrew, do you think there's any money / possibility that we might get something like Crawford versus Tim Tszyu? Maybe not yet. Maybe Tim can collect a belt. Let's say he beats Lara, and then we get the Crawford fight. Basically, another. I mean, I don't want to put him in that category, but Horn Crawford situation, pretty much under Jeff Horn, right? But what do you think about that? Does this seem logical that like why Crawford would be ringside? He said he went to go, root and cheer on for Spence, but I mean, it makes sense now that he'll be there to basically scope out the competition.
I think he was scoping out the landscape of Australia's boxing scene to see if there was potential money there for him. If the fight is real about Crawford and Tszyu, I don't see that being a Las Vegas fight, man. I really don't.
No. It won't be a Las Vegas fight, no doubt.
So maybe he went over there, do some radio shows, do some kind of like networking to see if there was even a avenue for him to be out. Is there any investors that want to see Crawford out there where they'll go, hey, what are you asking for? 10 million? We'll guarantee you 10 million if you fight Tszyu, right? Something like that. But I gotta say, I don't like that path for Terrence at all. To come back after Canelo and take on someone like Tim Tszyu, like, bro, fight Lara, fight Adon, go after a title immediately. Why would you fight fucking Tim Tszyu?
What if he lets Tim grab a belt? Like, let's say he does beat Lara, Tim, I'm saying, and then go after Tim.
But then he should grab a belt anyways. Like, let's pick the two champions and both of you guys get a belt and then you unify. But don't just go after Tim Tszyu there. And not that Lara or Adames would give Terrence that much credibility anyways for his resume. That's already a Hall of Fame resume. But to me, just a bully look if you go after a guy who no one considers the elite fighter anymore when you're supposed to be pound for pound the best, right? Let him prove himself, at least as a ticket seller, at least as a star in Australia with the belt. Then that's why you went over there and handled him. But I was like, Terrence, come on, you could do better than this. You know what I mean? Than going down there to fight Tim Tszyu just because he beat Errol Spence. Like, that doesn't make him a fucking household name. You know what I'm saying? So that's what my feelings are on Terrence Crawford and the Tszyu thing. But I do like Terrence at middleweight. Remember, we had said that he should come back to middleweight. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I mean, we said it before he fought Canelo because we thought that was going to be the path. It was like, all right, he tried 154, okay, now try 60 and then go to 68, but he skipped that altogether. It still leaves a whole ass weight division for him.
Yeah, no, and then even after the Canelo fight, we knew he wasn't a 168 or he wasn't going to stay at 168 and fight those big ass dudes. Why not go right to 160 and take on Lara would have been my first champion, and then Adames because of what he's done recently with his little win streak he's having. Then yes, maybe you fight Adames for the WBC title after. But so I definitely like Crawford coming back, even though there's not really a big fight there for him, right? Terrence could wipe out the whole middleweight division. It's almost the same impact that Canelo had when he took out the super middleweight division. None, right? I swear to God, there's Canelo fans that I know that didn't even remember that super middleweight run, dude. Yeah. Seriously, they were still like on Triple G. I was like, bro, he's had like 2 or 3 fights since Triple G. Yeah. You know, and he's like, oh, where's he fighting at? I don't even know. I'm like, fuck, dude. But that's what happens when you're fighting unknowns, right? Casuals, they don't tap into that kind of stuff. So, and especially on a platform like DAZN that wasn't reaching that many people at this time, So that's about the same implication I see or impact that I see Terrence having at 160 right now. But that's
it'll just be more adding hardware to the legacy. Essentially, it's a formality at that point. Like him, like, all right, he hasn't done shit at middleweight. He wants to add another belt, another weight class. Boom, he can do it there. That would be really the only reason.
Do we even have an opponent that's up and coming that he might be able to? Chris Eubank Jr. Is he ever coming back?
Not at 160, I don't think. I mean, everybody saying that he drained himself to make 160 to fight O'Connor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Amari Jones is ranked number 9th, 17-0-15. That's decent.
Oh, he's Oscar's guy. He's pretty good. Young cat. Pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's sitting there, and then they have someone number 10, Aloha, Oliha, Aloha. I know it ain't Aloha, but he's
Close enough.
22. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. He's 22, 0-10, so still undefeated. You know, at least they're up and comers coming up, because we need someone. I don't know where that last name where it would make him, but at least Amari Jones is an American. That would make some good money if he becomes big. Yonli Hernandez, another Cuban, 10-0-9, undefeated. You know,
right.
yeah. But Terrence Scott, at least he has a few undefeated fighters. He can go and grab all those titles, get all the hardware, and then start doing title defenses against undefeated guys, something like that. Tszyu, I basically see Tszyu maybe just winning a title against Lara and then selling it to Terrence Crawford.
All right. Highest bidder, Terrence, you know, it's right here, homie. If you want to, like, yeah, look, we can sell out in an arena over there in Australia, sure.
Start picking your favorite resorts so you can give them the brochures. Here's where you'll stay.
Exactly. All in, like, my day, drink at the sir, any day. All right. To add to that before we move to the next topic.
No, sir.
All right, cool. Because we got two more topics here before we call it a show. This one kind of happened right after we talked about it. Well, we thought at from last week's show that one Devin Haney was on his way. That's kind of what we heard, right? We heard those the rumors that we had read online and everything. Expected that to be the next signing, because we figured we were going to get Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson at 144 pounds under the Zuffa banner. Well, Devin left when we thought he was going to turn right, and has come to a multi-fight deal / agreement with DAZN, directly with DAZN. Essentially what Teofimo Lopez did without the need / help of a promotion company, basically directly. I mean, his own promoter, I guess, right? DHP. A couple of paragraphs from Yahoo Sports. DAZN continues to strengthen its U.S. boxing roster, this time with streaming service, which recently agreed to a broadcasting deal with Al Heyman's BBC, has now signed a multi-fight deal to carry Haney's fights on the network, sources close to the situation told everyone. Haney, the reigning WBO champion, becomes the second fighter to be aligned with DAZN without the backing of a major promotional company. This article was a few days ago, so from here it says on Monday, earlier in the week, Teofimo Lopez announced his deal directly with DAZN. Their relationship begins on August 22nd when Lopez faces WBA welterweight champion Rolly Romero on DAZN pay-per-view. Zuffa Boxing was trying to add Haney to its roster and ultimately make a fight with Haney and Shakur Stevenson, but DAZN beat Zuffa to the punch for Haney's signature, which could leave Stevenson without a big fight. All right, so Andrew, we talked about the possibility of one Devin Haney going to Zuffa. I mean, hell, we even saw his dad or read his dad post on social media talking about this big old however many figure deal. Big money, basically $100 million or whatever the shit the amount was. We all kind of figured it was going to be with Zuffa. At least that's what it sounded like. But I guess he zigged when everyone else zagged, and he decided to stick with DAZN. Now, I don't know how DAZN got it done. It might not necessarily just be the money. Maybe it is a good amount anyway, because of course Devin is going to go where the money is. But maybe he saw the kind of control that Zuffa wanted over his career and said, fuck that, I ain't doing it. And DAZN came up with a decent enough number for him to go in that direction. And it kind of surprised us all because we thought he was headed towards Zuffa anyway. But we'll start there. Were you shocked when you read that Devin Haney signed directly with DAZN without any sort of promotional company behind him?
No. And I told you last week that the Haneys seemed like a family that liked making their own decisions, right? Mm-hmm. And well, I thought that the $20 million was a good enough price that they would just sell the 5 fights, $100 million. Mm-hmm. Turns out they like controlling their decisions more than $100 million, which hats off to the Haneys. They're gambling on themselves. Look, the only thing that could have happened here, Miguel, is that DAZN came in with a lower number. It's probably not $20 million a year. I mean, 20 million a fight. Let's say it's 10 million a fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But viewerships, percentages, all that probably was higher, would give them more money if they win. So they're betting on themselves, right? That they're going to go do some 1.4 million pay-per-view buys on DAZN. I don't know how DAZN calculates that stuff anymore, because I personally don't think people are going, oh, I want to buy this pay-per-view. Oh, I don't want to buy this one. I think diehard boxing fans are just buying into DAZN. You're either illegally streaming or you're buying the package. There is no middle. That's my feelings on this whole DAZN thing. Said the way they have it set up, you would be stupid. Let me say that again. You would be stupid to buy these pay-per-views individually. If you are a boxing fan and you watch boxing like any other of the big 3-4 major sports, if you don't have it illegally by now, you're buying into DAZN and you're forgetting about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's your sport and that's what you do. And I believe that's what most of the fans have done. So I don't think that they're going off of individual pay-per-views anymore. They just leave that for the old guys that don't want to buy in. So he did not sign. He likes keeping his decisions to him and his father. Now, with that being said, all this talk about, oh, they beat Zuffa to the punch. No, they didn't. They guaranteed Zuffa now has to pay him 30 million and not 20 million. If you want Devin Haney to fight your Shakur Stevenson, the price just went up. That's all that happened here. Seriously. They know
Did it though? Because like, here's the thing. In this particular case, we can't imagine that DAZN would give him that much more money than Zuffa. It was more so the control. So the price might not have changed. Maybe the price is still the same, but at this point, let's say Devin signs later on with DAZN. He's like, all right, cool. I still collected all this fucking money. I still had control. All right, now I'll sell out. Because I'm not sure if that money will change necessarily, considering he's not going to get that same amount from DAZN to begin with.
Did you not just hear that every other fighter signed with DAZN? So they have a whole.
It's just one other fighter. It's Teofimo. It's just one other dude.
No, bro. Golden Boy.
Matchroom. With a promotional company.
Bill Haney has to pick from all of those guys now. What does Zuffa have? What are they picking from, bro? We seen the bullshit tonight. It ain't that great. I'll tell you that. The opposition that they gave Hitchens and Berlanga tonight was not that great. Hitchens really embarrassed himself by going fucking 10 rounds with that bum too. Seriously, Hitchens. Seriously. Your own.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Don't get me off. Going back. But no, bro. They've got one guy right now. Shakur. They need opponents. The price for Devin Haney just went up. I guarantee you that's what Eddie told him, and Bill was like, you're fucking right. They have nobody. It's either they start signing everybody at $25 million, $100 million contracts, or everyone's just going to sit on the other side and go, no, just tell Turkey to add another zero if he really wants to fight, right? So, dude, I think they worked themselves into a great position here to get more money for Shakur Stevenson. Zuffa's really in a tight situation right now with the overpaying. But we will let time play that out. But no, I do not think DAZN beat Zuffa to the punch. I think Bill Haney was smart, maybe with the help of DAZN's bosses, Eddie Hearn and everyone coming together and going, look, if we can somehow get all of our guys on one side, what does that leave these guys to do but overpay? Right? So
so they did beat Zuffa to some degree. I mean, not to the punch, meaning like they got to him first.
No, because Zuffa
but it was more so the better deal.
Well, Zuffa could still get the fight, so they didn't beat him to the punch. If Zuffa gets the fight and Stevenson beats Haney, then they made what they wanted anyway. Shakur beats Haney, excuse me. Yeah. And Shakur beats Haney, they got what they wanted anyways. They just paid a little extra. They didn't beat anyone to the punch. I think they want Shakur to be the face of that. I'm telling you guys, look, and we've heard this shit. And one thing we need to talk about these Zuffa contracts is, did you hear that Shakur's only signed for 2 fights?
No, I didn't hear that. No.
Yeah, dude, he's only signed for 2 fights. So it looks like they're trying to use these signings while they go out and sign all those younger undefeated guys, right? So they're like, hey, look, you see what we did the other day? Oh, yeah. These guys aren't going, hey, well, show me the contract. What did you actually pay? You think they're doing that when they're negotiating? Dana White, tell them go fuck off. You're not looking at his contract, but we signed him. Do you want to be him? Do you want to be, oh, yeah, I want to be him. All right, well, let's sign this fucking contract right here, and you can be Shakur. Then they find out, what? Shakur was only for 2 fights. He was gone in a year, and I'm stuck in a five fight fucking deal where I'm only making $750,000. What? Conor Benn only has a 3-fight deal. What the fuck is this? It's no 5 fights. This is no he's the future. He was a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and now I got all these young guys locked in. Young,
dumb
club fighters at this point. Zuffa needs to get better at their look. They've got a lot of records. They don't got a lot of talent, man. I've been watching these undercards. My fucking family fell asleep tonight. Let me put that out there. We watched it as a family, bro, and they were all down. There's not a lot of talent going on in this ring right now. There's a lot of fire to fire, just guys walking in. That, like I said, that Richardson one was a thing of just ugly. But that's what they're doing, and that's what we need to start really looking at. We need to confirm that Shakur Stevenson's only a 2-fight deal. You're not the future of Zuffa. You're a pond. You're a play. He's playing people, right? Like, oh yeah, we signed big money. No, you don't. You just gave the illusion that you signed big money so you could sign all these other younger fighters at dirt cheap and lock them.
Is that not what the other promoters might be doing? Like, we don't, at least with Devin, we don't know how many fights he has with DAZN. It said multi-fight. That could be 2. That could be 3. It could be 5. But like, we don't know those either. No.
It definitely is that, but it definitely isn't the pay scale that they're locking in their younger fighters with. And that's what the promoters need to keep telling these fathers with the younger fighters. Don't buy into the hype. That $15 million they're paying Devin, they're not going to pay your son. But guess what? We paid Devin $8 million. Do you think their stable's making $8 million? Fuck no, they're not. You know what Teofimo made with Shakur? $6 million. Do you think their stable's making $6 million? He might not have made the $15 million that he's about to make in his very next fight. He didn't make that, but he made $6 million. Do you think Dana's paying his stable $6 million? Fuck no, he's not. So you can go over there and run to Zuffa and think that you're going to make the money that you make over here at DAZN and Golden Boy, but you never will. You're not even going to come close. Maybe in your career, if you go on an undefeated Manny Pacquiao 14-0 streak in all headliners, yeah, then maybe you add all those $750,000 checks together, you'll get something nice. But our guys, before Turkey, were making $8 million, $6 million, $3 million. Money that these dudes have never seen. No, and they'll never see, excuse me.
And it appears as though his first fight, Devin, on this new deal will be with Keyshawn Davis. At least that's what it looks like. At least his first defense of the WBO welterweight championship. As I understand it, tomorrow is the deadline. I don't know if I read it right. I don't know if it's like the beginning of the negotiations or the actual deadline, but we are supposed to have some sort of purse bid here real soon for this fight. I don't know how that works as far as like what the DAZN deal is, like how much he's going to get out of it, because after all, it's going to go to a purse bid, right? That's what it looks like, at least. So I'm not sure how those things connect, because I'm not in the situation there, but it appears as though that's going to be the first fight on this deal. No date or anything like that yet, because obviously we don't even have the fight yet, but it seems as though this is the direction they're going. Andrew, DAZN, this is the second time they've done this, at least recently, with fighters, Teofimo being one, Devin being another. Do you anticipate that we might get this again, maybe with Shakur? Let's say Shakur does his 2 fights with Zuffa, and boom, he's free of them. Do we get another one of these deals with him, or anybody else for that matter? Is this the kind of business, because it kind of sort of pushes the promoters aside? The promoters are over here with DAZN saying, all right, cool, this is why we're all under one umbrella, because we can all make the fights happen. But now the promoter's like, oh, shit, so you don't even really need us? What the fuck is going on here? Is this something that DAZN is going to continue to do, you think?
Oh, yes, definitely they're going to continue to do it. And the only reason why they're going to get away with it is because they're a sports platform only. HBO, I think, would have been very interested in doing this if HBO didn't have Sopranos going on, Game of Thrones going on, and all the other, what was that one detective one that won a few awards, right? With Woody Harrelson and, remember that show, the detective show?
I don't remember the show, but yeah.
Blanking on the name of it, but they had multiple mini series that were getting fucking big time play. So that really pushed them away from boxing, especially when everyone turned into fucking Floyd, right, and wanted $20 million. I think that really made HBO just go, never mind. DAZN, different story. DAZN might have walked into their office and said, look, we let the fucking wolf into the hen house. How do we get this guy out? Let's open up our own boxing fucking side. We're going to have a boxing president, if that's Eddie Hearn or who that is. It might even be that young man that came out. I sent you the video on some new DAZN boss that came out talking against one of the guys. I think Connor Ben. Yeah, I think he was talking bad about Connor. I never had seen him before, but it said he's some guy on DAZN. So whether it's him, but you put someone in that seat that's going to be on the phone all day, making fights up for us, that's going to be under the, guiding these fighters, acting as like a promoter, basically. And yeah, they're going full board on that. You cut out Oscar. Dude, your percentages go higher. Your pay goes higher, right? Remember that percentage that stupid fucking promoter was taking from you? Guess what? We're giving that to you now. Sign here. Blam, signed. Signed in a heartbeat, especially if it works. Now, it's also a long takeover, like the Zuffa thing, right? It's not going to happen overnight. But as fighters get out of their contracts with these promoters, I definitely see them, especially if they already have a working business with DAZN because of the promoter's connection. Why wouldn't you just walk into the building as a free agent and go, what do you guys offer me just on my own? It's just me and my lawyer here. What are we offering, right? Oh, no, I think that's totally the future if it works. Now, if you get some dipshit in that CEO chair that don't know what the fuck he's doing and blows everybody's career, Zuffa, then what do you think Oscar and all of them are going to be saying? Hey, remember when you were with us and you got to 25-0 and had the title run? Hey, remember when you were with us and you were at 50-0? Yeah, pretty nice to get those records padded, huh? Get that money up there, right? Because that's what they do, right? They're building careers. There's a art into building some of these guys' careers. Formula. There you go. And it is a thing. Hey, Travis Kelly, I gotta say, is a thing of beauty. The way took that kid from what skill set he has to where he's at today and what he's about to make. That's promoter shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of the fighter, but that guy's kind of. That guy gets hit a lot, man. Fuck.
He's a former Olympian. The guy, I mean, he made it, at least amateur-wise.
Exactly. Yes. He did make it. But either way, I definitely think this is a new thing that the promoters will have to worry about. They need to hope DAZN does not put a man like Lou DiBella in that fucking seat. Because if they get a Lou DiBella, they won't need promoters anymore.
Damn.
Remember, they said Lou was the peak of HBO, man. Yes. He knew he would decline fights because he knew the matchmaking wasn't good. He only wanted certain fighters. Like, you get someone that actually knows boxing. Yeah, I'm scared if I'm all the other promoters. Not in the near future, but as I start,
in the long run.
Exactly.
All right. So great deal for Devin. It looks like his first fight will be with Keyshawn Davis. We'll see how that develops, but it looks like that's the direction it's going to go. And
breaking news on Dana White on Shakur Stevenson. They just asked Dana White tonight, Shakur's next opponent, do you have any idea? He said no. Damn.
Because of course. Why would he know? Right at this point,
dude, we're getting late into the year, though. Did they sign him just to try to sign a bunch of other guys before the year ends? Right? Like, hey, we still got Shakur. I haven't seen you guys do shit with them. Yeah, it's not shit. Do you want to sign with us? We signed Shakur. You're going to be a millionaire like him. But did they never do anything with them? Right? Think about it. Bro.
Didn't you sign Shakur for I don't know, 15 million a fight? He hasn't fought yet. So has he not seen the 15 million for shit? Yet? It's like that's kind of the point for him to fight. How come we haven't seen him in the ring yet, Dana?
Yeah. And they're saying another 3 months. If it is the end of the year, if it goes all the way to the end of the year, right? Another 3 months of them getting it.
When did he beat Teofimo? January, February? Was that what it was, or am I thinking maybe it's a lot sooner? Was it that far ago?
I don't know. You have to look it up.
It was like I remember it being like the 31st or something late in the month.
May.
Was it May? Okay. That seems more plausible. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was May. So, but yeah, dude, they're just walking around talking about how they signed these 2 high rollers without really doing anything with them. And asked tonight, do you have any idea when we will know opponent? He said no. If I did, I would announce it with his little red cheeks.
It's like, Dana, are we gonna get a Butler type of opponent for Shakur in his first fight? One of those kind of Salas. I forgot the guy's first name, but anyway. All right. Anything else we want to add to this Devil one before we hit the last topic of our show here before we wrap it up?
No, sir. Doing good.
All right. So last one. We just saw it. Andrew, I know you have plenty to say about it. ZUFFA09 card just ended, which is one of the primary reasons we're recording later on in the evening at night here. There's been a lot of talk about the fuckery going on with the ticket sales, bumping up the tickets, removing certain tickets from the site, et cetera, and we get basically. The fights were they're okay, nothing spectacular by any stretch, right? But we were looking forward to the co-main event and the main event with Richardson Hitchens and being in the co-main event, and then the main event spot Edgar Berlanga. Okay, so Andrew, we can get right to the meat of the sandwich here with their debuts, their promotional debuts with Zuffa. Again, you have plenty to talk about in regards to Hitchens and his lavender trunks, but by all means, have at it, please. Andre Ward was talking, yo, what the fuck? Don't go into the ropes. Let him come in. What the hell is going on? This is not guys on your level. Go ahead. I don't know if you heard the post-fight the post-fight interview in the ring with Max, but Hitchens said he hurt his hand somewhere in the 6th, 7th round, something like that, and therefore he just figured he would try to play it safe the rest of the card. Ultimately, the rest of the fight. Ultimately, that gave us a bit of a boring second half of the fight. But go ahead. What do you have to say about when Hitchens?
Not really too much to say. It's did you know he was the Haitian hero being born in America?
Not a clue until I saw that flag, and then I was like, where's that flag from? And then I saw it on there. I was like, oh, okay. I was completely unaware. Going into this, I thought he was all Brooklyn, left, right. That's why they did it there in Madison Square Garden. But unbeknownst to me, I was unaware of this fact.
Totally thrown off on that one. I did not know. Obviously, I did not know that. I was just thrown off. I was like, the Haitian hero. Does he donate money to them or something? Is there some kind of did they have a natural disaster where he went over there and took some people out of the river in a boat? What the fuck did he do to make himself the Haitian hero?
Did Andre Berto give him a trophy that made him the Haitian hero? Because I know Berto went over there after that earthquake and did some shit.
There you go.
Is that how it was?
He better start doing something, because I don't think you could just call yourself the hero of a country and never step foot in that country. Do you speak Haitian? Yeah. He's fucking Americans. I swear to God, they're delusional, man. Anyways, we're gonna move on from that one. Now we have the Haitian hero born in Brooklyn, New York. But okay. No, look, I like Hitchinson. You know that going in, I thought he's gonna be a prospect coming up. Tonight, that's not what the UFC fan base, and I've got to say it like that, Miguel, because that's what TKO is. That's what Turkey was hoping for when he signed Dana White to do boxing. Will it bring the UFC fan base? Can they combine both sports? That's the bullshit those guys don't like. They don't like it. Yeah. Very boring. Ew. Backing up. Ew. Right? Sorry. Go to the fucking Zuffa page right now and look up that fight and go tell me what the fucking comments are saying. That's why I watch the UFC. Swear to God, that's like on the first fucking 4 comments, dude. Swear. It's not the type of fighting they like, bro. Not all of them, but the majority of them, okay? Let's just say all the wrestlers and the jiu-jitsu guys and the guys that don't really like striking and backing up in distance and all that shit. They want to be able to reach out, grab you, and take you to the ground and just hug onto you. Punching, step back and throw a jab. No way. Don't do that. I got to be able to grab you. So whatever. So they don't like that kind of fighting. He needs to change that. And you seen Andre Ward was saying it during the fight. He's like, bro, why are you backing up? This guy, he's outclassing him. It's time to walk him down. He tried. He probably hurt his hand when he did it. Gives us a little look. I don't. Not only do I not like that the fact that he said he hurt his hand immediately after the fight. He doubles down and goes, "Oh yeah, I heard it in training. I heard it all the time in training. Actually, don't say I heard it all the time. That means you have hand issues, bro. You're giving your fucking enemy something to go with, right? Don't do that." So very green move on his part to say that he's basically got injured hands, which I'm sure the insiders already know, but don't come out and say it on your interview. He did good, but Miguel, is this the type of opposition? This is why I said we need to look at where Salas was on their fucking rankings, bro. I hope he wasn't top 3. I hope this wasn't for #1 contender of the welterweight division over at Zuffa, because it was trash. That wasn't competitive. There was no entertainment there. It was one guy slapping the shit out of the other one. The other dude had no defense. He had no head movement. He's walking straight in. All of them walk straight in. You know what? Can't say so tired. It's only the 9th show, but they need to really stop with the club fighter. Oh, he comes from this background of just being a hard ass, and because they are all starting to look like it. They definitely.
Didn't you say it from the beginning? This is the kind of things we're gonna see on Zuffa from the very beginning. Like, they're gonna get the guys to be rock'em sock'em to try to get as much general fan base as they possibly can. You even predicted they might have even brought some UFC guys over here, which ultimately hasn't happened. And Dana White said it's not gonna. But the second part of that is still accurate. They're still gonna try to they'll bring some talented dudes here and there, but by and large, it's gonna be the kind of guys that come forward that don't have to go looking for them, the club fighter type of prototype of boxer. That's essentially what they've been doing since day one.
Yeah, and I said that because I knew it would happen, but now I'm trying to help them to say they need to avoid getting too much of that. Okay. I will also say that because of now I know the UFC ratings aren't what they've always said they were, there's no way they would have UFC fighters come to boxing. Let me be like that one dickhead with the cauliflower ears, Schwab or whoever the fuck his name is.
Schwab, Brendan Schwab, yeah.
A UFC fighter, Miguel, could not beat a club fighter in the ring. Dana knows that. He knows that, bro. So that's why he won't do it. Their ratings would drop tremendously. If you've seen fucking UFC veterans, whatever, come over here and get beat down by some fucking dude who was retired last year and he's come back to give this another shot. Nah, bro, the ratings even drop lower. You're gonna start losing the boxing fans that like MMA, or they still kind of blind themselves. I know you do. I know you watch that shit, Miguel, and you're like,
what? Watch what?
You stop. I know you see them flinching and they're bracing themselves before the punch comes, or they got no head, no step back, no jab, no counters. I know you see.
They're never gonna. They're never gonna not do that.
I don't know. You would think at some point they would try to learn the art of boxing, but whatever. I'm just saying, some of you boxing fans, I think, go to a blind eye. Is that what they say it when it comes to how far they're off on that side of the spectrum, right? You're like, yeah, no, they'll still win.
No. In the cage.
I'm talking about the
cage. No. That's
shut up.
Are you sure it's not you that's doing this? That's not doing this. Like, even in the cage, because you can do a whole bunch of other stuff. I agree.
I know that
boxing part, obviously, but even there, even in the cage, I'm not saying they can't get hit. Mind you, it's a fight. It's a fight. So they are very capable of being hit. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying they have much of greater chance in the cage because of everything else.
Yeah, no, all I'm trying to say is that I know for a fact that's all Dana is living on. He doesn't want these guys over here fighting club guys. He just doesn't want to do it. That's why I will move off of UFC should come over here and fight for Zuffa. No way.
Not anymore. Okay, not
their
anymore.
fucking ratings are barely hanging in there, Miguel. Seriously, I'm telling you, Paramount still
but they're doing better than the Zuffa cards. Like, wouldn't that do something? That'll give them a shot in the arm, no?
They're definitely doing better than the Zuffa cards. They're definitely doing, but they're nowhere near the $1.5 billion that fucking Paramount gave them.
It would still be a shot in the arm for the Zuffa cards to have some notoriety, some recognizable name make the jump, even if it's a co-main event spot.
No, because many MMA fans said they will not tune into the bullshit anymore. They're not. They've seen that, and they're not going back to it. They're gonna live on, if I kick him in the leg, he's gonna fall, and I'll just grab him. I'll grab him. I'll take him down. He won't be able to do shit. They're gonna live on that one. They're gonna die on that one. Okay, so no, I don't see them coming over to boxing to watch the shit any longer. Maybe back in the day, yes. Right now, the current status of the UFC and what I feel they're showing us with these numbers, that's why Dana White will not do this anymore. That it's off the table. You need to stick with the fan base that you have and try to grow these numbers, even though they've been stagnant for a long time. I just haven't seen any growth in the UFC in many years. But with that being said, where was I going back to? Zuffa09. Here's another thing that Zuffa needs to worry about. And I'm going to ask you straight up. Do you think their ratings can be so low that Paramount tells UFC no more? Do you think Paramount could go, motherfucker, I could run reruns of fucking, what do my kids love? The World Hates Chris. You ever seen that Chris Rock show? Everyone hates Chris.
Yeah, I never watched it, but I know what it is, yeah.
They might be able to get more views on running a series like that than what Zuffa is bringing them right now. They said the last one was under 200,000 views, dude. Is there going to be a time where Paramount goes, I don't give a fuck that we signed the UFC for $7 billion. Take this bullshit off of my network. It's not doing anything for us. Zuffa needs to be scared about that.
Well, if the ink is dried, I think they're fucked. But
no,
they do it again.
They signed the UFC to $7 billion.
No, I know. But I'm sure they signed Zuffa on top of that as well. I don't think that was part of the deal. Maybe there was its own deal. I don't know the specifics.
I think TKO brought Zuffa in. I wouldn't even be surprised if TKO is doing the thing like that PBC and them do, where they're buying their own space. Now, if they're buying their own time slot, then maybe yes, Paramount go, fuck it. You guys want to get 20,000 views, get 20,000 views. But if they're not buying their own time slot and they're taking part of the $7 billion to do, oh no, we have this special project we're going to do for you guys. We're going to take over boxing. And this thing's in fucking year one and they haven't gotten anything near what the boxing views are over at Netflix. Why would you continue with it? We bought you guys because of the UFC. Right?
All right. So check this out. This is just pulling that up on AI. Zuffa Boxing, all right, not UFC or not TKO, signed a landmark multi-year media rights agreement with Paramount to make Paramount Plus the exclusive home of the promotion in the U.S., Canada, Latin America, starting with 12 events, 12 cards in 2026. So according to this, multi-year. So, I mean, I think they're fucked. Now, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily proud and satisfied with the ratings, mind you. It just means that they're in the ink is already dried. I don't think they're willing to buy themselves out of this one.
Still doesn't tell you if they paid for it or if TKO paid for it. Just says they signed a multi-year deal.
Yeah, let me see. Because
I remember Turkey was the one giving them the 10 million, not Paramount.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying, dude, there might be a point where Paramount doesn't need Zuffa. If Zuffa's not doing anything
right now,
right? If they're not doing anything for the network, what are we doing here? Your project did not work. Your UFC fan base is not buying into the whole boxing thing. You guys are wasting my fucking airtime, really. Unless you're giving me 10 million a year, then fuck it, do whatever. Have Dana White dance in a tutu. I don't really care, but but if I'm paying for this shit, I might be dropping them and saying, hey, give me the UFC what was that? Build a Fighter, Build a Champ, the reality TV show.
Oh, the Ultimate Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter probably does more views for Paramount where Zuffa is. I'm dead serious on that. Unless their views start, we'll see tonight. Tonight they had two names. They had Hitchens and Berlanga are both from the boxing world's top fighters, right? Their numbers should have been something tonight. Hopefully it made some kind of dent. And I'm saying like 2 million, Miguel. I'm not even gonna go 18 million, 17. No, stop that. Let's lowball this shit, but at least be over 1 million views. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Like at a certain point, the fucking thing's got to start making a profit. I'm not paying, especially because Zuffa wasn't even formed until they already did the thing with TK with Paramount. This whole Zuffa thing started coming in. If I'm Paramount, when the fuck did you guys become boxing? I didn't pay for boxing. I wanted the MMA, that thing that's taking over the world. Give me that.
Because Zuffa's signed deals, rights deals with other like Sky Sports, like the UK and everything like that. So they're making deals everywhere else too. I wonder how satisfied they are or will be with the ratings, and whether it's any different over there than it is here in the US with Paramount.
Yeah. Yep.
So back to the main event. Hitchens. Not the best performance, but it comes away with a victory. I threw in there when we were texting, maybe the winner of Ryan and Connor, and you're like, nah, not really much money there. So I was like, all right, maybe if Connor loses, if they throw in Connor loses, maybe we get Connor and Hitchens as long as Connor loses against Ryan. What were you gonna say?
I definitely like that fight. I like the Connor versus Hitchens if Connor loses. That's a great fight for Zuffa. The problem is that what we're running into is the money side of it. Who's making the Zuffa paycheck? Because it looks like no one would be in that situation. Connor and Hitchens would be like you're just putting on another mainstream fight like the other promoters. So if the conspiracy is true that they only hired these guys to sign a bunch of other smaller undefeated guys that don't know what's going on, then no, I think Hitchens has to fight a Zuffa fighter. And this is where it gets real sticky, dude, because he's going to annihilate whoever the fuck Zuffa has, bro. Like, who do they think? Do
you think, I mean, after tonight still? Like, I mean, are you going to get another one of these?
He outclassed the kid.
No, I know he outclassed him, but the guy lasted the 10 rounds with him. And plus now we find out about his hand problems.
But Zuffa would have to sign. They have to sign someone that can match his talent and then be better than him. They don't have that on their roster at this time. Okay. You know what I mean? So I think he dominates this. If they're really going to put him in at that class, he's going to dominate it, and that does nothing for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's really weird. To me, I'm saying I believe what Eddie Hearn and De La Hoya were more leaning at. They're using these guys as pawns right now. It's an illusion to get other people trapped into a contract, and then you'll find out later, hey, those guys are already gone. What? Nobody's making 15 million anymore? Gotcha. Right? It's gonna be one of those. The bait and switch. So I don't know where they go with Hitchens after tonight. I really don't. He's in the same bracket as Shakur, I'm guessing, or is he not? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how many fights. What if they only have 2 fights with Hitchens and one of them was tonight? I don't even know how many fights this young man signed for. So, yeah, I don't know where they go with this. I don't even know what they're trying. They might be learning on the fly themselves, dude. This might have been something they tried to get more guys to answer their phone calls, but I've said it 2 months ago, Miguel, and I'm sticking with it. I'm really happy with the way the boxing world responded to Zuffa. They didn't just run over there and give him everything. It wasn't a PBC situation. I'll tell you that. Even Al Heyman had it easier, right? He literally took like all of Oscar's guys overnight. Hey, you know what? And that's really weird too. He was smooth at that, because where were all the contract implications back then that would make those guys stay with Oscar? Weird, they were just I
wonder if Oscar didn't have him in place yet, maybe because he's like, he didn't think it was gonna have or something, right? And the things weren't even there, so he's like, oh shit, before I know it, now he knows. I mean, that's probably why he's having this success with Virgil in court and Ryan in court and shit like that. Like, no, I learned the first time.
Yeah, they had to have been, bro, because he really did get everything taken out from under him with PBC, where Zuffa has not had that luck as of yet. And really, I say as of yet, dude, we're fucking on show number 9. We're in month number 7. I don't, no, it did not come as easy as he thought it was. And we will talk about the Ali Act revival thing because they had Nico there today. Yeah. We'll talk about that Wednesday. It's getting late tonight. So, and I don't want to go on for another half an hour.
One last one. Prenga and Butler.
Yes.
Right. Rock'em sock'em, entertaining fight. But boy, was it I mean, for a quick second, and mind you, I counted my eggs before they hatched, whatever the hell, my chickens before they hatched. When Prenga gets dropped, I'm like, here we go. This is, and I said the little, I put the little gify of the guy like shoveling money into the fire, thinking Zuffa, they just fucking spent all this money on Prenga, and there it goes down the drain. But he persevered, he got back up, and he put Butler on Queer Street like a motherfucker, right? He had him flopping all over the spot. For the Butler's, to his credit, he was able to survive for as long as he could until he was no longer able to. So ultimately, it was a TKO victory for Prenga. But man, what entertaining, but realistically, anybody with any little bit better defense probably could have finished or could have beaten Prenga. Prenga was getting hit himself. There were times where he was getting a little sloppy and trying to do the Philly shuffle kind of thing, right? Or the Philly, what did they call it? The shoulder block. But what did you see with Prenga and Butler tonight?
I think everyone in the building, their hopes were up when the bell rang, and they said, "Oh, this kid ain't no Tito." As soon as he got dropped again, right? As soon as it happened again, all their confidence went out the window on him again. Yes, he gets it back by the end, but again, this was supposed to be a showcase.
Sure.
Well, it was a showcase. It had a major flaw. You hit the canvas again, right?
Yes.
So it's a question of his chin, his defense, all that comes into play. I also thought it was not funny, but it was, I guess you can't say it was funny how he was trying to be all more technical, more boxer, right? They're like, oh, look at his jab, look at his jab. He gets hit one time. He's like, fuck this, dude, fuck this, dude.
Right.
Through all that shit. I even know his trainer was like, he just threw everything out the window.
Right. He tried the shell for a little bit, tried the Philly shell a little bit, and then he still get hit. He's like, all right, fuck, just swing at this point. Back to 16 first round KOs, back to that pretty much.
Just started hitting him behind the head, hitting him in the back. He's doing, And then what was up with that little nonsense at the end? Like he was going to slug the dude again when he was on the ground.
Yeah.
Remember, this young man bit someone. You know what I mean? So up here might not be 100%.
In a fight that he was winning. He wasn't able to get the dude out and got frustrated and straight up bit the dude. He was ahead on the scorecards, guys. Jeez.
Definitely Zuffa ready. You could probably put him at the 160 division. I don't see him ever getting back to the top, dude. You know what I mean? I think he's very safe at a 750. I think Prenga would be happy at making 750 a fight.
Yeah. And by the way, if you guys remember, there wasn't supposed to be a 168-pound weight class, but yet again, Zuffa likes to go back on the words, and here we go. I don't know. I thought when he comes in, they're going to force him to go up to 175 because I don't see how he would be able to make 160. But did you see his body today? He looked a little flabby. No, he made weight. I think everything was fine there. I didn't watch the weigh-in, so unless I missed something, but he just looked a lot softer, and that seemed a little strange. I mean, when he fought Canelo, and mind you, we're talking about different level. Obviously, the preparation and the motivation to fight someone like Canelo is another story. But when I saw him there and he kind of jiggled as he's walking around, I'm like, what the hell? Like, how soft is this motherfucker today? He made the weight, right, as I understand it, unless I missed something again. But can he make 160? You think we can get him there at 160? It seems like kind of a big ask.
Yeah, I don't think he's that type of guy. He doesn't seem like he has that kind of determination, motivation. I don't know, whatever you want to put in there to get to that.
Discipline, the diet and the discipline.
There you go. Yeah. No. Yeah, he's made it to the top. I'm not going to knock him too much, but definitely, I would love to know how much money they did pay. They said 10 million a fight, bro. That's a lot of money.
There's no way. There is no way.
But that was the rumor when he first signed, right? So that's a lot of money for the talent that he showed tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, no, he doesn't have a future at the 168. He does have a future at They need to get him that Zuffa title. They probably should have put it on him tonight, like they did Opatai. You know what I mean? Like they did Opatai really fast. Why aren't they? I guess Hitchens. I don't know if they really wanted him in the Zuffa rankings because, dude, no one's going to be able to beat him. And I know he doesn't want. You seen? He comes out after the fight. He's like, I want Davis. I want Haney. He's all naming all these guys that aren't even signed to Zuffa, bro. Like, have you been reading the social media lately? Like, yeah. It just seems like it's going to be top ranked people.
Oh yes, I was just going to say that it's PBC Kool-Aid all over again. Believe in the promises. Oh yeah, we can. You sign with Zuffa. We'll get you the fight with Oscar. We'll get you the fight with so and so. You know, Golden Boy or motherfucker. Yeah. All right, cool. Davis. Oh, we can get you Davis. Just sign here. As is one of those kind of things. So I don't know what they're telling these guys, but when we're hearing things like, oh yeah, you can fight for a belt, and stuff happens with Opataya, and then this happening now with Ryan and Connor, WBC belt on the line. What the fuck? No, there's going to be no super middleweight, but yet we have it here. What pay scale? Oh, this is the pay scale, 750. Why are you giving this guy 50 million? It's just all over the thing. We don't know what the fuck to believe when it comes to Zuffa, really. So, yeah, go ahead and give Hitchens the Zuffa belt. Why not? Make him the inaugural welterweight champion. Sure, why not? All right. I think we got everything then. I think we went over the amount that we wanted, but regardless, Andrew, is there anything else you want to add to this before we call it a show and go to bed, for crying out loud?
It was a great weekend of fights, man. I liked it. I enjoyed it. All the fights that we were able to pick to watch. So looks good for the future, man.
Yeah. We had to wait until the Zuffa card was done to record, so we're about to go to bed here. Okay.
Yeah, I got another one, you guys.
Oh, all right.
What if Zuffa steps in and wins the purse bid? Just say that WBO doesn't hold them out. I know they told them they were, but say they don't, then DAZN didn't beat anyone to the punch. Turkey buys the fight.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, you know, if Zuffa comes in with the money and says, all right, we'll put 3 million, whatever, 1.5 each, whatever the shit, right? Something stupid over the 250 or the 200,000 minimum. And what is WBO going to be like? No, we're not going to take 3 million. Yeah, you're going to take it. Come on now.
Yeah.
But
yes. So they still have a way to end up with Devin Haney, Keyshawn Davis. Anyways, might still be a turkey fight.
This is a wacky world we're in. We've called it before. This is the wild west of sports, and we might be witnessing one of the crazy takeovers, I guess, if we can call it that, with how Zuffa is playing this out. But okay, cool. Then I think that's going to do it for us tonight. We will be back on our regular schedule, of course, Wednesday. So make sure to tune in for that because we have plenty. What did you say you want to talk about? Oh yeah, Nico Ali Walsh. I'm going to put it on my thing. We're going to be talking about him and his appearance on that Zuffa card tonight.
Sleeping with the enemy, as Miguel said.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. It's one thing when you're trying to, protect your grandfather's last name. It's another thing when you're rubbing elbows with the guys that are trying to destroy it. Come on now.
He's all, what? You'll give me 5 million? Oh yeah, I'll be there. Fuck my granddaddy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's like throw in another mill and I'll call Ted Cruz myself. Tell him to make sure to sign that shit off real quick.
Hey, next week he's all, my granddad would have totally been supportive of Zuffa. I've read over the contract again.
It's like I read his last will and testament. He said if the UFC ever gets into boxing, to support them 100%. So I misread that.
Dana White is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I like to thank Dana White as part of the contract. But okay, that's going to do it for us before we make this any longer. For my co-host, Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapache. I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, a.k.a. Fight Fiend Migs. And this has been the Mad Boxing Show. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care. Peace.